What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Chill. I wasn't gonna do it this time.
We're back though, baby. We're back. Another episode. So welcome to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. I'm so excited to be here again. Thank you so much. If you are listening to us today, I cannot believe it. I still can't believe it. Money, you came in today
20.
and you're like 20,000.
Who are these people?
20,000 subscribers.
Right?
So give yourselves a big hand. You've decided to take a step in life and listen to a bunch of jabronis that might have something worth saying. And occasionally, just occasionally, there's a nugget that you can take away that says, hey, I might could add that to my life.
That's right.
And feel good.
You get crap from here, dude. Come on.
That's right. We're just a $10 podcast with a handful of listeners to it. But again, thank you so much for listening and welcome to this Floors.com studio. FLOORZZ.com. They will deliver you floors all across these continental United States. So if you are in the look for a renovation flooring job and what's going on, man, hit them up. Go to floors.com. Tell them the jabronis sent you. They will take care of you, I promise. Floors.com is your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering remodel or new build.
Did we figure out about the international shipping?
I mean, they'll do it. I'm not even going to ask Mike about that. They're just going to do it.
They're going to
just charge it. All right, it's not like they're going to do it for free.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if it's got to cross water
in a shipping container,
you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Man. You probably pay. Well, I don't know what they're doing. I don't want to say you're paying $448.
Yeah, no, don't throw them under the bus.
You may have there may be a number that you buy enough flooring and they take
free
care
shipping.
Of it.
That's how I buy all my stuff online.
Yeah,
Get it $50.
It's so good, right? Online's the way everything goes now. It's all online.
It is.
Well, we have got an exciting show for you today. Our guest today is Dryp. But George Dockendorf.
Yes.
But I know on Instagram your handle is Dryp, right?
Absolutely.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dockendorf has been slaughtered so
oh, my gosh. I'm surprised I didn't slaughter it, to be quite honest.
Probably did. Did he say it right?
He did.
Okay. You know, his daughter is Sydney. And my daughter, Sophia, we had a carpool that we did together for like a year and a half till they both were able to start driving.
Oh, so the same age.
But we did they go to the same school, so I would take them in the morning, or they actually, no, Stacy, your wife would take them in the morning, and then I'd pick them up in the afternoon, or Danielle would. We'd kind of share jobs there a little bit, but we go back and forth figuring that out, make sure that they could get to school and get. Because I love the school. It's just
they don't have.
It's 35. There, it's 35. It's a private school. It's 35 minutes away one way.
Yeah.
And we live close enough together to where it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so we're neighbors too, then close.
Oh yeah. He's right around the corner from
nice.
us.
All right.
Yeah, they live in Sandestin.
Oh,
so they're in the resort area with
I'm in there.
Brandon.
I'm in the bubble too.
Money's in the bubble.
Oh, man. I live in the poor area in Sandestin.
Lakeside. I used to live in Lakeside.
He's in a good area. He's in a great area. You kidding me? He's in a great area. Money. He's right around the corner from you, right across from Burnt Pine, the neighbor. Right. There's nice Italian looking homes right there.
I shot a couple in there.
Yeah. Those are really cool on the inside.
They are.
They really are.
They're
great.
It's a wonderful place. You know, I mean, there's mostly Airbnbs, right? A lot of people. But now that the price of homes have gone up,
so expensive.
More people are buying them and not renting them.
That makes it nice. Yeah. Well, Sandestin's a great place to raise children at.
Absolutely,
you know, it's gated. It's the resort, the community. You have all of these amenities.
Yes.
You know, on a golf cart, I think we counted it up the other day. Well, this was when we lived there. We moved out, but it's like 22 restaurants or something.
It's weird.
And all these retail stores, a movie theater, and a grocery store you can get to all by golf cart.
It's wonderful.
I mean, and we're not even mentioning the beach or the bay.
Right. And the best part is you can drive drunk on your golf cart.
As long as you don't get caught.
Inside the gates. Theoretically. Theoretically. I mean, I've seen some, the emergency room over at Sacred Heart says that's like their number one issue is golf cart accidents.
driving.
Very true. That's you got a good point.
I think one drives off to Marina Dock about once a month to see.
Oh my gosh! Have you ever seen Jason Drawn? Shout out Jason, runs that over there. He shows me so many videos of people that just go straight off the end of the dock.
Why would you not brake?
Well, so they had extended the dock at one point in time.
Right.
They extended the straightaway on it, and I don't know what kind of it's late. There's not lighting.
Yeah, it's drinking involved.
And I don't know what they did to rope off the new end. And so this person didn't see the new end and just went straight.
That's scary, man.
Honestly, I'm
Take your
laughing
golf
at it.
cart
I'm
in the
laughing
ocean.
at it, but it was two elderly people that went over, and they hit in the water, and they had to try to they were really fortunate to swim over, and they got on another boat's swim platform.
Wow.
And some people had to help, obviously, pull them up, but they could have really been injured.
Yeah,
the brakes weren't working or something on that particular one. I remember.
It was bad.
That's a big drop.
Yeah.
So I want to introduce. We have a special guest with George that came. We have an RN with George, one of his best, most preferred, right?
Yes.
So this is Chris. This is like A++ RN. Nothing but the best for the jabronis.
She is the Cavassier of
Yes.
ours.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Because Dr. Dryp, you are the proprietor, the founder, the owner, the CEO, the Dr. Dryp of Aqua Vitae, which I know it's a Vitae.
It's okay. Yeah. I'm wearing Aqua Vitae. The name of the business is Aqua Vitae.
Aqua Vitae. Aqua Vitae. IV.com.
Absolutely.
And so we are going to put IVs. You see them in the cameras. We've got IVs that
First
we are
ever on
in.
YouTube right
and
now.
We will give you a review
without that.
right now. How long is this
Right
IV
now.
going to take, by the way?
So once she gets it started,
Right.
probably about 30 minutes.
Man. So by the middle of this show,
Feedback.
we're going to give you feedback. We're going to give you live feedback.
Right
I
here.
can't wait. I love it.
I'm excited about that. I've been excited about this since we scheduled this pod. I've been excited about this since I've been talking about your wife reached out to me and was like, hey, I really, George wants to get on. I want to get you on. I want to get him on. I'm like, yeah, let's figure a time out. So we kept going back and forth with some dates, and then finally we nailed a time, and we're here, and I'm excited. So Kristen, why don't you come on? I mean, after that interview,
Kristen,
we're ready to go.
everybody,
We're ready to go. Excited about this. Absolutely. And so Kristen's going to hook us, each one of us up
I
with
gotta
an
get a
IV.
mango in here.
I actually want to see. I actually want to see how you do, Brandon. Will you scream? Do you like? How do you
like
do
a
with
little
needles?
girl.
Probably. How do you do with needles?
I do okay. So I used to get allergy shots as a kid. So I had to do a lot of
You do
needles.
okay?
Oh, that explains a lot.
How do you
dude.
do with needles?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with needles. I mean, you're probably fine with needles. Right?
Well,
I mean, you gotta go
that's
through it.
to be honest.
Hey, we like honesty here.
Yeah. To be
I've only sampled what I sell once, and that was because I was really, really tired. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of chicken.
Really?
Yeah, and here I am as an ER doc.
Yeah.
I put big, they call central lines in.
Yeah.
I see those lines.
Yes.
So putting them in's no problem. It's just on you. It's kind of.
I had a bad experience when I was hospitalized, and I was super dehydrated, and that's why it's also important that you have a great nurse that knows what they're doing. And
I'm excited about it.
That's why I only hire ER or ICU trained nurses at my facility.
Oh, really?
It has to be a comfortable experience. A lot of people, it's their first time ever getting an IV.
Right.
And I don't want them to walk out of there traumatic or traumatized that, oh my gosh, this was horrible. So the better of talent you hire, the
Doc,
better.
that is
that's true in almost every industry.
But that detail of thought in that I want the best of the best people that are putting in IV, especially in a business that's so driven around customer service.
Absolutely.
Right? Every business should be. But when you go to a hospital, you're there because you have to be, for the most part, right?
Right.
So, but when you're going to an IV bar, it's because you want to be. You want to improve your health. You want to get some benefits, and we're going to dive into all those different benefits of it. But I love the fact that you are thinking so far in advance about the customer and who your client is walking in the door. I want to take care of them. That's so smart.
Thank you. And of course, that's 25 years of being an ER doc.
Yeah.
I know what is anxiety provoking.
Yeah.
I know that we want to cater
right.
to their needs,
right.
and we go out of our way to do that. When they walk in, not just the environment. I know you haven't been there yet.
No,
but,
right.
But the environment itself, even if the IV sucked, you're going to walk out of there going, "This place."
I'm coming in.
Awesome.
I'm coming in this week, though. I'm going to come in this week, and I'm going to get some
where's your
shots
office?
for that
Where
for
you
this
located at?
episode. He's right here in Miramar Beach.
Yes. Well, you know where 36150 Emerald Coast Parkway, right next to Aqua. Well, it used to be Aqua Tile, but it's Pure and Couture's to the left of us.
Yeah.
You know that little area. Small cakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
where. I know where you're.
Yes.
I got you.
Chicken salad chick.
Chicken salad.
Chicken salad
the
chick.
Pilates place.
Yeah,
That's where
like
we're at.
Orange
Yeah.
Theory's right across the
I know
the
you're
street from you. Yeah.
So
Yep.
that was.
So you're almost like right on the border of Destin and Miramar. Then you're
bingo.
yeah.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right across the
Line.
street is one of the ERs I work at.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just in the ER.
Yes.
So
Oh, were you there that night? That accident?
Were you there?
I was there the day after, and they showed me some of the videotape and.
Oh man,
that you guys didn't get to see.
Yeah.
It was bad. I can't. I won't go into too much detail, but
Yeah.
it's something that was so shocking.
Yo. True North Pest Control. They are all over Central Florida, Georgia, and they just moved here to the Emerald Coast. I just switched my service over to them. You got to check them out. Tell them JB sent you. They'll take care of you. We are a bug-free podcast because of them. True North Pest Control. Now back to the show.
So for our audience, before you go in
Yeah.
too far, our audience, there was a major accident here not too long ago.
Right in front of the hospital.
Right in front of this ER spot
Right where he works at, yeah.
where
Yes.
Dr. George works at. And there's a bunch of young kids in there. Now,
all 16.
If you follow
15, 16.
our show, we may have mentioned this, I think, on the episode with Drew Armacost.
Yes,
when we
'cause-
talked about insurance, because Drew's daughter's friends were all at his house, and one of their boyfriends was in this vehicle.
Yes.
When it happened, and they thought because of social media, it blew up where the kids had died, things, all this crazy which it was horrible.
Oh, the rumor mill was.
It was bad.
It was flying.
The rumor mill was
Right.
really bad. We played poker with the guy too. That his son,
Three of them, yeah.
three of
three
them were all
oh.
involved in this. His son was in that car, and he hadn't done a project that he didn't do right, and his parents are divorced. And his mom had said, "You can't go out with your friends at night." So he called his dad, say, "Hey, I'm going to go out with my friends." His dad said, "Well, something seems weird about this or whatever." Called the mom. She said, "Yeah, no, he didn't do X, Y, Z." And so he called him back. He said, No. You meet over at this gas station. I'm picking you up. You're not going out tonight.
2 hours.
2 hours later, this accident happens. So
Yeah.
he would have been in the middle seat. He would have been in the middle back seat.
The fact that
Anybody.
nobody
Died.
right,
I can't believe it.
especially with the video I saw that the media
Yeah.
didn't show, because we have closed circuit camera.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
So your camera at the ER
we have
caught
8
this,
cameras,
and it
out.
caught that.
It caught everything.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
my God.
Yeah, so there was 2 of
brutal.
them that got they were thrown
Ejected.
into the lawn of the ER. Talk about
Oh my! Holy
It's a
crap!
crap.
Yeah, I guess you could say that's luck or not luck, but
Well, but what I was going to say is, I think what saved these kids' lives is that nobody wants to be in an accident, but for it to happen in front of the ER, thrown into the ER. What I understand is those doctors and nurses came rushing out.
They
I mean,
did.
as a parent, I was almost in tears reading this article about how these doctors and nurses
Dang,
rushed
that's
out
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
and
It couldn't happen in a
saved
better spot.
these kids' lives.
it,
Period. End of story. Saved
Yeah.
these kids' lives.
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them.
100%.
It
100%.
happened so fast that you can't even see the Charger.
We haven't.
That's how fast it was
Right.
going. Then you see the
What
accident.
do you think the speed of the vehicle was? I mean,
It was.
I've heard
when
different things, so I don't know.
Over 100 easily.
Over 100 miles
without
an hour.
a doubt.
On a 45 to 55 mile an
It
hour.
was 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then the vehicle that they hit, I think it was a Volkswagen Jet or something. I'm not
Right.
sure, but Tiguan maybe.
Okay.
But that tells you, hey, buy a Volkswagen because
The other one was shredded in half.
it hits a telephone
Like a
pole
Charger or something.
and split it right into 2.
Right. When we were saying his son, our
Wasn't-
friend's son, would have been in the back middle
They
seat.
said there's no way.
There's no way he
way.
could have made it.
The powers above are watching.
100%.
Yeah, they were.
100%.
They were.
Yeah. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, we're going to move on to something else.
No,
Depressing.
Like,
kind of.
Hey, we're not drinking
you never
today.
know what's going to come through the door when you're an ER physician. You have no idea.
No kidding.
It's
Yes.
tonenail fungus to car wreck. You know, you're right.
Toenail fungus
Yeah.
to car
They
wreck.
get a
kidney
lot
stones
of
to-
drownings too.
Yeah.
everything. That
Oh,
That's a tricky-
man,
that's a tricky
everything.
job.
No doubt.
and there's always, of course, tourist season dependent too. What you got.
Yeah.
Sunburns and jellyfish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And foreign objects. I think that we're going to.
We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
I know. I'm excited.
So I used to call them gastroenterologists. Well, I got some stories too.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're going to dive all into that. So, sorry, I'm getting over.
Brandon's had a lot of objects lodged in his body.
You wouldn't believe how many times Brandon's gone to the ER.
More than I need to.
Hey, we know him.
There's like a frequent flyer pass.
Oh, it's my 10 punch.
Gets one more punch. He gets one more punch, and this last thing that comes out is
says
good on
Bolo.
me. You remember that show Jackass? They put something up someone's keister one time and sent them into like a walk-in ER to go, I don't know what happened, and like did the whole X-rays and everything with like the camera glasses and all, and it was like some like Godzilla thing or something like stuck up there, and they have the X-rays like I was just playing around in my kid's playroom or whatever. It was just, I don't even remember the whole thing. Yeah, all on a prank deal. I'm just thinking like, who wants to do that?
Crazy people.
Like that's insane. That's absolutely insane. So the drink of the day today though is in honor of the Aqua Vitae.
Yeah, by request.
We have the dirty martini, the vodka.
Hey, was this shaken or
martini.
stirred?
This was shaken, not stirred. Because James Bond, baby.
I don't have a James Bond sound bit, but that's probably one to get on.
Oh, that's excellent.
Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers. That's excellent.
That
I
is
have to tell
actually,
you, by the way,
it's really
this is
good.
Really good. Yes. It is.
Yeah, so we made this one with 2 ounces of vodka. I'd call it, honestly, probably 2.5 to 3. But 2 ounces of vodka, a half ounce of dry vermouth, and then a half ounce of like an olive juice brined, just the brined of it.
What
Shake it
vodka
up.
did you use? Or
I used Tito's.
okay, nice.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I did. All-American vodka. There's a lot of other ones. I would have used Dixie, but I'm out.
Dixie's good too. I'm a Kettle One guy, but
Are you Kettle
Tito's
One?
is good.
Tito's is good. Well,
for the
Kettle-
price.
But what is the kettle? I mean, isn't that like
Kettle
German or something?
One is I don't know.
Yeah, it's German.
It's
right?
Europe. It's European.
Yeah.
It's the cleanest one I found.
You think so?
For hangover wise, yeah.
I'd say out of all
really?
the vodkas, it's got the most distinctive taste of. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that's what I love the Kettle One. It's just smooth and as far as hangovers, it doesn't have a lot of sugar.
No,
Or it has no sugar, basically.
Yeah.
Are some vodkas have sugar in them?
So that's so funny you said that because if you're going to be on a weight loss drug, I always tell people that can't quit drinking, drink vodka. It is the least amount of sugar. Alcohol has sugar by definition.
It is sugar.
But,
Right.
you know,
When you say like what's the other tequila?
right.
I hear that's also pretty good. Or does it have sugar too? It has more sugar.
Yeah, you have that guave. And,
Well,
so there's a bourbon, a high sugar content, right? So, if you're alcoholic and you're trying to lose weight, just stick to vodka.
Yeah, that's all.
Gotcha.
That's all I ever drink.
George, I'm going to have you pull your mic down just a hair. I just want. There you go. I want to just get your face, in the camera. Yeah.
I don't
He's
blame you.
incognito. Dude.
Incognito, baby. Incognito. So let's play. It is now time to play. Now time to play. What the hell do I know with Dr. George Dockendorf? So here we go. 7 questions, rapid succession. No right or wrong answers. No gotcha questions. You can pass if you need to.
Okay.
Time out.
All right.
Brandon's crying over here.
Nah,
From
my
the
eyes are
IV.
watering.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He's looking good.
You all right?
You're not going to pass that, are you?
No, I'm good.
I don't think he likes needles.
Okay.
All right.
No, I'm good.
She's double checking him. That's for one thing I've seen. She's double checking him.
He's tearing up.
He's tearing up. All right.
My eyes are always watering. Everybody on the YouTubes know my eyes always watering.
Nobody's been staring at your eyes. What the heck are you talking about?
They look into these baby
my
browns and they're like,
goodness
oh, I can't help but fall in love with him.
No,
Glorious
I mean,
brown
I feel like
eyes.
you're ruining this whole segment.
It's my fault. I brought it up. Sorry.
Look at these glorious brown eyes, everybody. Look at that. Zoom in on that. Beautiful.
All right. 7 questions, rapid succession. Clock's on.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Number 1, favorite color.
Blue.
I love blue. Number 2, Chick-fil-A or KFC chicken sandwich?
Chick-fil-A.
Of course, it's the Lord's chicken. Number 3, were you part of a club in high school?
Yes.
What was it?
The sexy young high school best looking club.
Really?
No, I'm just made that up. I was no part of any club.
No clubs?
No club.
No Kiwanis or
Nothing.
a beta club or chess club?
I don't fall into peer pressure.
I'm sure. Hey, it could have been.
He did his time and he got out of high school.
Yeah.
That's right.
Number 4, favorite restaurant here on the Emerald Coast.
Favorite restaurant in the Emerald Coast? I'm going to go with Seegers.
Oh,
Cigars, yeah.
Our boy Fleetwood
that's pretty good.
Covington the third.
Ate there, 2
Chef
weekends
Fleetwood,
ago?
we did. It was honestly one of the best meals I've had in a long time.
Great, yes.
All right. Best pet you ever had?
A pug that we still have.
You still have?
Yes. Her name is Carbon.
Okay.
Because she's carbon color.
Awesome.
And she's crazy.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so bugs as you already know, are goofy looking.
Yeah.
And her personality just brings out that goofiness. So she's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love pugs.
Pugs. That's great. Carbon.
Carbon.
That's great.
Well, we had one named Crouton. He named it Crouton. His
Crouton.
Love it.
Well, we had 3 pugs. We named them all after a fuel.
Yeah.
One was
Oh,
called,
that's great.
one died, unfortunately. His name was Diesel. We still have 2 pugs left. One's named Ethel. And then we have Carbon.
This is
Carbon.
great.
I love it.
Say I named
I
my dog
love it.
Pam. I love human names for
Pam.
dogs.
Yeah.
All right. Number 6, favorite place to vacation.
Favorite place of vacation would be probably in, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to go with, I'm going to go Park City, Utah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. Yeah.
winter or summer?
Definitely winter.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely.
So skiing for sure?
Absolutely.
Have you been there in the summer?
Been there. I actually graduated from University of Utah.
Okay, so you know.
Cool. Yeah, so-
What am I talking about? You know better
That's
than I
all
do.
right.
Yeah.
That's
But,
all right. Yeah,
yeah.
but no, definitely, hands down, favorite place.
Because I love it in the summer too.
It is gorgeous.
It's
They got-
so nice, and the weather out there. I
The
mean,
weather-
it's just clean.
And you
and
wouldn't think they have a
70-some
whole lot
degrees.
to do up in a ski resort during
Fly
summer.
fish. We fly fished. We mountain biked down the mountains. We did it all.
Yeah, so they got that little scooter thing that
Yes.
you can take down the
Yes.
truck.
We saw a moose in the middle of Park City. Like there's this turnaround or whatever, this roundabout.
Yeah.
Just walked right through the middle of the street. And I'm driving. I'm going like, is this okay? Like, is he going to attack? I mean, had what looked like antlers on his head. I mean, it was insane.
I actually, my oldest daughter is 29. Me and her went on vacation there by ourselves, and they have the Olympic ski. What do they call that thing where the 4 guys run and jump into the
luge?
thing?
Yeah,
Luge, thank
yeah.
you. And we so they have that during the summer. You pay one of their experts. They take you down.
No
And
way.
let me
That'd
tell
be
you,
awesome.
that was the
Yes.
scariest. Painful.
Oh my gosh!
It was.
It was like 100 miles per hour or something.
Yes, and it hurt. My spine.
I bet that did hurt.
I was 6'2". I'm 6 feet now. So, it was bad.
So Brandon's done it like 4 times.
That's why I'm 5'9.5".
That's
Oh my gosh, those guys!
so good.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
That's so good.
That's great, juice.
Sorry, Brandon. You
I
know.
love it. I'll take it.
So this was my next one. Fastest. We totally blew the clock out on that one. Fastest you've ever been in a car. But maybe we should have done it on the luge.
Yeah. So in a car, 160 miles an hour.
160 miles an hour.
Yes.
Legal on the street?
No.
So not legal.
No, I was just showing off.
Okay. What were you in?
Jaguar.
Jaguar. I like it.
Nice.
Hey, great job, by the way. You're now off the hot seat.
All right. You won.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Great job, Juice, by the way. Getting your IV done, handling the soundboard.
Freaking-
Yeah, baby.
Can you see the tears in my eyes?
I teared up because I have what's diagnosed as some
good.
some kind of dry eye problem.
Self-diagnosed?
Something.
Dry, is it related to needles?
Dry
Dry eye needle problem.
Dry needle.
Self-diagnosed from Dr. BMoney.
Dr. BMoney. We had, I had my
BS.
son Jackson, my children, and I'm going to do this as short as I can, but they had, when they were born, they were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Fortunately, though, they have a mutation that's R117H and a Delta F508, and wherever they link on this allele chart, it just acts normal. But it took us years to understand that they were going to be okay.
Yes.
And not all my children, just 2 of them. But Jackson, our oldest, when we were going through this, one of the things they do is kind of these sweat tests, and then they do some different drawing blood, and they do different things to try to figure this out. And that's what clued us in when we put for more testing, was as their sweat test, while elevated, was still in the normal range.
Right.
And so they couldn't figure out what it was. And then when we started doing the DNA tests and when you think about cystic fibrosis, I think it's 80 people in the world, or it's it's not 80, it's 80,000. But it's maybe more than that. I really don't know fully how many people there are.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up. You can probably Google it, Juice. But
I got an IV in my arm.
yeah, that's true. That's true. He's like I'm not touching anything now.
Freaked moved.
It's all taped in. What are you talking
That's
about?
right, Juice.
You don't have to Google it. I'm just messing with you.
I can't spell cystic fibrosis. I can tell you that.
Don't worry about it. Don't Google it. I can already tell you're struggling. Don't do it.
I don't know if I can.
It's a small in the grand scheme of things. It is a small amount of people that have cystic fibrosis.
Right.
Now I want to know. Now I'm going to look it up.
Then with the ones that have that mutation, it's even smaller. They were in really studies trying to figure out and through modeling what my kids were dealing with and whatnot, they've actually now come out with, I don't want to call it a cure, but it is a, oh my gosh, you should watch, there's a Google Boomer Esiason on ESPN. There was an incredible documentary they just did on it. And you see what he did. He basically took his skills in quarterback and went out and raised money because his son got diagnosed with the worst case of CF, the Delta F508. And he found essentially a cure. I mean, it's a pill that you take every day that chaperones the stuff to the lungs.
It says 100,000 people in the United States have system.
Right, but
is that spelled right?
Cystic, C-Y?
Right here, system SCLEROSIS?
No, C-Y.
S.
Yeah, C-Y-S.
Gotcha. Go ahead. Sorry.
But that's all right. But cystic fibrosis used to be a death sentence by the time you're age 40.
100%.
Now, I know people who look like they were at the end, and you can tell they're huffing and puffing. They're skinny. They have a lot of they're chronically hypoxic, meaning low oxygen. Well, that pill that he's talking about has changed lives to where now they can have a
normal life.
Wow.
That's normal life.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly
that's
right.
very recent, by the way.
Right.
So you'll see these people that they start gaining weight. They look healthy. It is absolutely a miracle. Does it cure it? Not.
You're going to have it, but if you take this pill every day, you can breathe. Your lungs act normal. His son was 18. The story in this, I'll tell you this quick part of it. It was an amazing. Honestly, I'm in tears as a dad and having experienced this and all that. He was telling the story how his son went to he was doing they thought that Boomer's group was funding research to find a cure or to find something that would chaperone, because what happens is you have it stops the ability to create you may know, I can't think of, it's cystic fibro
You can stick him while he's talking. He won't budge.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be fine. I'll tear up a little bit, but
all the kids are doing
it. All the cool kids
are doing these IVs.
Hold on, give me a second. I can make myself cry. But at any rate, you have bacteria and things getting in your lungs, and then we have a way that transfers that pushes all of that out. That fluid and that phlegm and all that stuff comes out of your lungs. In CF, they can't. They don't have that. Right. That takes it. That gets it out from your lungs. And so really, and you don't realize how what malnutrition was what was killing kids early, like 13, 14, even younger, because it also stops you from being able to absorb the nutrients you need into your body. They figured that out, started giving them pills for that. Then it was, now we've got to solve for the lung issue. And so essentially they realized if they could find this drug that could go in and grab the CF gene and pull it to the surface of the lungs, we could actually help you expel all this stuff and get it out of your lungs. So his son was 18, 19 in college, and all of a sudden realizing he's kind of now at an end life, like needing a double lung transplant, which is maybe a 5-year life expectancy after that. I mean, it's one of the worst transplants I think you can probably do.
Dora's sister had that.
Yeah, it's really tough.
About 5 years ago.
It's so tough. And when you get that lung transplant, his son, so he's sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? He has to come home from college because he can't breathe now. His lungs are at the end of their life, hopefully not his total life. And they put him on a trial drug that his dad's group has basically funded. I mean, he's gone around raising money for the last 20 years since he knew his son had cystic fibrosis. And they put him on a drug, this trial drug. Now, he doesn't know if he's getting a placebo or not. Mm-hmm. And his son could not, am I okay? Oh,
yes, definitely.
So his son, they went to go play hockey. Out of all things, his son would go out and try to play hockey some with his dad. Yeah. And so they went just to go and play with some friends. But his son could only play for a few minutes at a time because of his lungs. But he would try to, want to get him out there and do stuff and think and whatever. Well, next thing you know, he's out there for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
So cool.
On like day 4 or 5 of taking this drug.
Wow.
And it was crazy. And he says, "What's going on with you today?" And immediately they looked at each other and goes, "You might actually have the real thing."
Yeah.
And it's like ivermectin. No, it's not ivermectin. I don't know why I wanted to say ivermectin.
That's a cure for everything, by the way.
Ivermectin.
We're going to start all kinds of things here today.
Yeah, we are.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think the lung. Yeah, ivermectin does everything.
It's not ivermectin. I can't remember the name of the drug, but...
Yeah, I probably have it at the house.
But,
I can't think of it either.
No, you don't have this one, but...
Not that one, no, but
it is expensive, but it works. It is given.
It is expensive. Well, it is expensive because, again, there's only 100,000 people that it's going to help.
Yeah, spell it CYS. How do you spell this?
CYSTIC. And then space fibrosis.
Bro, I can't spell that. Is that the first word's wrong then? I need to take this off.
Yeah, the systemic. Yeah. How we have cystic. There it is. Look, fibrosis. There it is.
Okay.
And then, in the word.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right.
So
it says approximately 70,000 to 165,000 people worldwide.
Worldwide. Yeah. That's
about 300,000 or 30,000 in the U.S.
That's what I mean. It's super, super, super small amount of people that have cystic fibrosis.
And that's not counting like the lower countries that probably don't even test for it or, don't know about, whatever.
Right. That's exactly right. Is that what she does with you? She's like,
oh, she's just so good. Because I told you, I don't tend to. Yeah.
That's the first IV you've given him?
Yeah. Yeah, he said he's only had once. Yeah. Done it once ever.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
You're just busy giving them.
I work so hard that I just don't have time for this.
So is this a martini IV or how to?
Well, I drink martinis all the time, but no, they're always wanting to give me an IV at work because I put a lot of work into this, and there's times when I know I need one. But
right.
I just, to me, when I have this hooked up to me, it slows me down. I only can type. I can't type with one hand.
I agree. I struggle.
Juice. You're right.
Yeah. But by the way, that was fantastic.
That really was.
So is it at the shop or at your place? Is it like a bar or how's it set up there?
So. IV drip bar is kind of a cool concept. We've had a couple drunks walk in thinking they were going to order some alcohol.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
The concept and the name is kind of new. We went ahead and a lot of places don't call themselves an IV drip bar because they think it's going to confuse people.
Yeah. Right.
Me, I like that.
You like to push that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so once they get educated, I mean, we could talk about where an IV drip bar started.
Yeah, no, I'd love to.
It was by an anesthesiologist, who is now a multimillionaire.
Yeah,
I was in Vegas working at Sunrise Hospital, which is one of the busiest hospitals in Las Vegas. It's right off the Strip.
Yeah,
and it was.
Oh my God! Now I can't wait to hear the stories.
It was. I mean, you get over 300,000 visits a year. Vegas is a different entity in its own. Where most cities, the ERs will tend to slow down by 2-3 in the morning.
That's when you speed up, right?
Yes, Vegas, and 90% of your patients, they don't live there. They're tourists.
That's right.
So that makes things a little bit more challenging. So I remember we saw these billboards pop up. This was maybe about 15 years ago, and I think the guy called it the hangover wagon.
Yeah.
And we laughed at it. We thought it was a funny we all said this is going to go out of business. And this guy today now owns over 100 buses. He bought Greyhound buses, gutted them out.
Wow.
And now we learned there's a market for it. We all made fun of it. He's the person laughing now. So it took a while before I jumped on board saying, okay, this is something to it. And I know you'll probably get to it. I'm not meaning to jump on the line.
No.
So
we're here for you, brother.
Yeah, that's a great story.
I'm here for you. Right? So I laughed at it. I didn't think much about it until about 2.5 years, 3 years ago, when I moved out here, and I still work for Fort Walton, main hospital, and I was full time, but I was in my 50s, mid 50s. I'm 56 now, and after 25
you look
years,
great for 56.
I appreciate that.
You've been doing your body well.
I use a lot of oil of Olay.
All right.
Yeah, and,
They used to say you bathe in drip bags or something.
You start to feel it. The ER is probably one of the, if not the most stressful environment.
By the way, this feels good. I don't know
Isn't
about
it
you guys.
great?
It's hitting my veins. I'm feeling it.
Do you know what the name of this bag is called, by the way?
So your wife texted me, says a Mac Daddy.
Yeah, Mac Daddy. I'll say.
Mac Daddy.
At our IV bar, we don't call anything by what everybody else calls it.
I know you're telling a story, but tell us what's in this Mac Daddy.
Oh, right. This is a Mac Daddy is our version of what they call the Myers.
Okay.
And a lot of your viewers might know what that is. Okay. Myers was actually Dr. John Myers from the 1960s. He was the first person who created IV vitamin cocktails, and he catered to celebrities. Okay. Celebrities are always the first to get the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
they look young, huh?
What do you think we are? Just a bunch of jabronis out here? Of course we get the Mac Daddy.
Absolutely. Well, so at my IV bar, we don't call it anything by the traditional. Yeah. So the Mac Daddy, why? Because Mac Daddy means it comes with everything. And it cures about everything.
Oh, man, I love it.
So
I saw B12.
B12. Yeah. So what's in it? Yeah. Vitamin C, B12, all the other B vitamins.
Yep.
Okay. Calcium, magnesium.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
We are literally going to be on cloud 9 when I leave here.
Oh, this is our number one seller during non-tourist season.
Okay.
During tourist season, we have something called the Hangover Helper.
Yeah, of course you do. Now, what is that one?
Yes.
What does that one have?
That has B vitamins. It has minerals, electrolytes, and
electrolytes. Yeah.
Zofran is medication for nausea.
Gotcha. So, now, with this would still would all of them hydrate you? You're pretty much going to get hydrated in an IV.
Yeah. So when people come and say, "Here's what I have," I tell them, you're going to get hydrated because it's a liter of normal saline.
Perfect.
So hydration, that's the primary. Number two,
which is
the
huge,
secondary?
by the way.
Right.
We're all under hydrated.
80% of Americans, we are all
I feel it all the time. I know I'm not drinking enough water. And I'm constantly trying to.
It's hard to drink water. I hate it. So I substitute that with beer and alcohol.
Right. It's got water in it.
Yeah, it does. By the way, there's a lot of misinformation that when you drink Coca-Cola or alcohol and your mom or your friend says that's not going to hydrate you,
right?
They're lying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a study that was published by an actual well-respected nephrologist, renal doctor, that said you get the same amount of water. You're getting hydrated.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not trying to say.
What about sweet tea?
Sweet tea, same thing.
Because I hear it's like a diuretic. Diuretic?
Well, the caffeine can be a diuretic.
Okay.
But you are still getting the hydration that you need.
Huh.
So it's a misnomer that people think, oh, you're not hydrating yourself by drinking a Coke or whatever. It's
probably still not the best for you.
Well,
though.
sure, but the secondary stuff, the sugar,
it's all the other stuff that's not great. Right.
Still liquid,
Right.
But where were we at? You were talking about
what's vitamins. We were just talking about these vitamins, but the hydration. Yes, I was just saying that the hydration. Yeah, just seems like we're not getting hydrated enough.
Primarily hydration. Everybody's going to get that. Number two, I say, well, what is the secondary thing that you want? Because we have things for hangovers. We have things for people who want energy. We have things for people who are having menstrual cramps.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. We have. I have to think about what I have. It's that martini, man. That was so good. My brain's dead. So
Here, let me look at the website.
Yeah, we have something called Requench, which is really for dehydration because it's based with electrolytes, minerals. It has all the B vitamins.
Yeah.
So a little bit of something.
I'm seeing
for
a weight
everybody.
loss one here. That seems pretty good.
Yeah, we do more than just the IVs too, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But the IV bar, I wanted everything to be different. I wanted to have my brand, my personality, and we've been very successful with that.
Well, when we walk into your IV bar, what do you see? I mean, is there a reception desk that comes in? Is it set up like a nail salon with different stations going down the line? I mean, tell me a little about that.
That's a great question. So the big reason I decided to open an IV drip bar was because, and this is where some controversy is going to come in. We
love controversy.
And I'm going to create
the interwebs really loves controversy.
And my competitors don't like what I have to say because not only because I'm number one.
Yeah, baby.
As a matter of fact, the people who've been here longer, I have 542 5-star reviews.
Yes,
nothing less.
Yes.
We've only been open 2.5 years. The competitor who's been here the longest hasn't even hit 100 yet. And
there's an
because I didn't want our IV bars to be like every other IV bar.
Wow.
That's not even a good picture.
Okay.
That is, I'll say that was as we were in progress developing who we were.
Okay.
If you go, you'll see that there's some other pictures, probably not on the website. Oh, there you go.
I can look at Instagram.
If you go, if you go, there you go. Click that first picture there to the left.
Get the first one.
There you go. Yeah. And if you click that and click it again, let's see it. Yeah. If you look at that.
Oh,
that is
cool.
the environment that you walk into. That is 3 120-inch movie screens that are projected on a wall. We keep it dark. It feels like a Las Vegas nightclub.
Very cool.
One of the things that I do that you won't see at an IV bar is a physician that's actually there.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of non-physician providers, we'll call that, and they know who they are. I'll just say it. Not a nurse practitioner, a PA. They kind of took advantage of a lot of
loopholes,
rules, that you can circumvent. And there's something called a collaborative physician.
Okay.
All right, and this is me. I'm going to talk about how I hate that term.
Okay.
Collaborative physician means that person, that mid-level, went and got a physician to sponsor where they could use their medical license to operate independently. Okay.
So they're not a physician then.
Correct. In fact,
they're operating as under a physician, but by themselves.
They'll advertise that they have a physician on staff.
But they're not there.
They're not there. They're in Wisconsin. Okay.
Gotcha.
And it is misleading. So there were bad outcomes that happened because when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah.
And there were some bad outcomes. So I wanted to do something different, which people appreciated. A lot of people think getting an IV is benign. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, 99% of the time it is. But that 1% of the time, there are people who should not be getting that IV. And I'll give you an example. Somebody with congestive heart failure, somebody who's a dialysis patient, somebody who recently had heart surgery.
A lot of liquid, right.
Right? So you could kill people.
Wow. So you need to understand. You got to have some understanding, but it's not just benign to put in an IV.
Not everybody.
It's not. And they go with the odds that, more than likely nothing bad is going to happen to you. So I saw that bad things do happen to you.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was a nursing student here in Florida who was given a high dose of selenium. Okay.
Wow.
And when I hear these things, even as a physician, I have to take a step back and go, what in the hell are you thinking?
Right.
She was given selenium because there's a lot of extrapolation of research papers that people will take and try to use it to the benefit and say, oh, there was a paper that showed that selenium will cure COVID.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there that will believe that. They come in, you got somebody injecting you with high dose selenium,
Right.
which is absolutely dangerous. This nursing student died right there on the spot.
Oh,
Damn.
And-
I take selenium every day, but in a pill
Probably
form.
not this
pill
amount.
form.
Yeah, pill form.
Right. So she was given such
It's an immune system. Yeah.
toxic doses by somebody who was not a physician. She died.
Tylenol's toxic, right? You can die
in
too
high
much
doses,
Tylenol.
yeah.
Tylenol
Too much of anything.
is a big reason people come to a lot of people who are suicidal. They take it. They don't realize high quantity of doses of acetaminophen Tylenol is the worst way to die. You don't die immediately. So there is a certain amount. It's 7 grams of Tylenol. If you take that, you're going to die.
It's a lot.
Would that be like a whole bottle?
It's a
lot
lot.
of Tylenol.
Okay.
I don't. We're not going to give you the
right.
amount of
But
pills
the point
online
is,
here.
even a drug everybody takes
Yeah.
it can be lethal.
Yes.
If taken too much.
And but the people who take that don't realize what they're in store for. Usually it's for attention getting, and when they do that, if you
It's a cry
don't,
for help.
right, there is an antidote called N-acetylcysteine, Mucomyst, but if they don't get there in time, within a specified, it's usually 4 hours, their liver will completely fail.
Yeah.
They'll die a miserable death over 72 hours.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing from you, Doc. And
Don't take
is
too-
that
go
is
see a
one-
doctor.
Yeah, go see a doctor. Go see some, because the amount of information that you're spitting out right here on, and we're just kind of rounding about. We were talking about cystic fibrosis. We were talking about all these other things, and to say like I'm going to put something in my body, and that's so. I think that's the thing, and I get it. Everyone out there, because of the way our healthcare is set up right now, it's so convoluted and it's so.
It's a shit
jacked
show?
up.
Would
It's
you
a
say
shit show. It's a shit show.
It is.
And it's so tough. And you have doctors that are, really seeing people and getting paid in different ways, and it's not happening. I mean, it's if they could be there's some doctors here that I know. My wife found a doctor that she's seeing, a primary doctor. It took her 6 months to get into this guy.
Right.
And he doesn't take insurance. But she loves him because she goes in and she sits with him for it. She runs all the batteries of tests that on her.
Concierge medicine.
He's 100%. And but it took her forever to get in. And she's like, look, it costs a little bit more, but
Right.
I'd prefer to go but it's the system. We put everybody into this system. And so if you're, number one, I don't want to throw if you're going to school, I don't want to throw doctors under the bus. I think they're just having to play in parameters that don't give them. It's like they're shackled to a degree,
It is, and that this topic of where you're going with this is a lot of people don't realize. It's hard to see a doctor nowadays.
Yeah.
In fact, when you make an appointment, you probably won't be seeing a doctor. You're going to be seeing a mid-level.
Yeah.
And they hate that term.
Right.
They want the rights and privileges of what a physician went through. They want the equal pay. And
Go and do it. Go and do it. Get
there's
the
a
studies.
journey that I had to take to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that journey that they take, it's a lot shorter.
Well, a PA takes a journey, and it's not an easy thing to get it. A physician's assistant, it's not the easiest route at all, but it's still not the same thing as going through medical school. And
it's not. And when PAs and NPs were created, it was back in the 70s, 80s, because it was to fulfill a shortage in rural areas where they could not get primary care.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But what happens, like everything, you give an inch, somebody wants a little bit more, a little bit more. Well, CEOs saw...
there's a right, because it's all about the dollar, baby.
Bingo. They saw, hey, you know what? Medicine, we can make it algorithmic.
Yeah.
We can hire non-physicians because physicians are independent thinkers.
Yeah.
They don't want that. Yeah. They want people that can tell what to do. And mid-levels are cheaper, more affordable. Yeah. And like I said, this is controversial.
Well, you can walk into these urgent care centers, right? And you just go.
You're not going to see a physician.
Here's a Z-Pack.
Yeah,
see you later.
Got me at the hospital.
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's that sort of thing though that you want somebody though that can independently think and say, hey, because I do think the one thing I feel like in America today, and I think we may still have some of the best health care out there. I know it's convoluted.
Right.
It doesn't feel that way.
for sure.
But I still think we probably have some of the best health care available to us. But I think you as a person have to take ownership of what's going into your body.
Absolutely.
And you have to try to understand. So if you don't understand, get a second opinion or make them explain it better, right?
Absolutely.
But then what do you put in your body? So
Right.
if you're going to go to an IV bar, I want somebody that says, hey, I know what we're doing here. You know?
Absolutely. Yes. And that's another reason why we became so popular. I have people that will tell me, we're coming to you because I saw that you're a physician. And that means a lot to people. Is it rocket science? No, it's not. But again, I'll liken it to this. If you're flying in an aircraft, all right, do you want the pilot that's been in the Air Force who flew F-16s for 20 years, or do you want the guy that, or female, who took a shortcut to fly that 747?
No, I want the experience. I want the experience all the way. And
Sure.
there's no look. If I want you to get your license, and I want you to be trained on that plane exactly like you're supposed to be trained on that plane. We were flying back just from vacation, and we got in our last flight of the night. And the pilot, I guess the first officer, got in first and noticed that a circuit was popped. But it's primarily where sometimes they explained it to us. Captain came on the line and said, hey, look, we're going to have maintenance out here. We don't think it's anything. This particular circuit that's popped is usually because somebody puts luggage right here in our crew. So the last crew probably pulled it, and that's what happened. But, look, he just said, I'm a believer in safety first. This is going to take us an extra 20 minutes. Yeah. And I'm just sitting on this plane thinking like, hey, you know what? I'm a believer in safety first, too. Guess what? I'm with you, baby.
Because we're going to be 30,000 feet real fast.
I'm all for let's make sure it's right before we get in there.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, new customer of True North Pest Control here on the Emerald Coast, Central Florida, Georgia. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they get rid of all the unwanted pests in your house, including termites and mosquitoes. Tell them the Jabroni sent you. Back to the show.
You were talking to us about the PAs kind of mid-levels. We were going into that sort of thing. But, you've also were telling us there for a second we had a break, which, by the way, I'll go ahead and point it out. Money, you had the vein didn't pop, but Kristen's the best IV specialist. She came in, saw something was wrong, switched it up, and bam. And you're dripping now.
I am feeling it.
My body temperature, by the way, is on point right now. And I'm not saying I felt hot, but right. I'm a little bit cooler right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
amazing.
These are room temperature, so you will feel a little bit cooler, obviously, with that. But it's that hydration.
It's hydration.
When your cells are getting what they need, the thing you're feeling immediately is that hydration. The vitamin C, the calcium, the magnesium, you will feel that a little bit later when you're getting up and walking around. And I do tell people, because some people come walk in with the expectation, well, I'm supposed to feel different immediately. Right. And I explain to them, these are vitamins. And we're not giving you narcotics.
Do you have narcotic drip lines?
We have something that does make you feel immediately different. That's the hottest thing. And Joe Rogan texts about it all the time. We can.
Oh, yeah. What is this?
NAD.
NAD.
Yeah, that's something that is.
So, what is that?
That is. So in cell biology, every cell has to have energy, right? Yep. And that cell energy is produced by mitochondria. Yeah. All right, every cell has mitochondria. That is what I call the battery of the cell. Mm-hmm. So no matter what the cell function is, it could be a cardiac cell, a muscle cell, a neuron, a skin cell. They all have mitochondria. And in order to perform the function of what is needed, it has to have energy. Energy is called ATP. NAD is what makes the ATP. It donates. Okay. Right? So as we get older, when you're 50, your NAD levels are 50% of what they were when you're 18. Very similar to testosterone levels. Okay, same thing. So as we get older, what happens to us? We notice that it takes a lot longer to get moving. We develop disease, cancer, and they found. And I'm a skeptic, which is good. A good doctor's a skeptic.
Right.
It takes a while for me to add anything to my IV bar just because you tell me Uncle Tommy tried it somewhere and he felt great,
right?
That's called anecdotal evidence. It means nothing to me.
Yeah, how many have the placebo effect?
Bingo.
Right?
Uncle Tommy's legit though.
Yes.
Your mind can tell you that you feel good, right? Your mind can tell you you're sick, and you can eventually be sick. I mean, your mind can do so much.
Absolutely, the mind is powerful.
Right.
So, NAD. After hearing about it for over a year from all my clients, I finally did some independent research,
Deep dive.
and I was like, I got to see what this is. And I found a paper that showed rats. Rats are great to study because their life cycle, it's about a year. Okay. That year is commensurate over the life cycle of a human. Like dogs.
Really?
Every 7 years is one year of a...
But they're like every 7 days.
Right. Exactly. But so you can get a lot of useful information over that 1 year. So these rats that they injected with NAD, the rats that did not get injected with NAD, the rats that did had 50% more energy and lived 25% longer.
Wow.
And this was a great study.
What in the world? Now, if I wanted to take NAD, how would I, and I was going to have that injected by you, how often should I be doing it?
So, great question. So, the best way to get it is by an infusion. When I say you feel it immediately, I mean you do.
Wow.
When we turn it on, right now we got these drips wide open. Okay?
Right.
If I put 500 milligrams of NAD in your bag, you're not going to be able to have it wide open. It's going to take about 3 hours to get through it because if I opened it up, it's so powerful. You're going to feel it, and the side effects you won't like. It's like eating a marijuana brownie. I've never done that, but we do see
it can be good.
Yeah,
No comment.
I don't want to tell you not to.
I actually have a friend that's tried that.
Yeah, right. We all have, right? That one friend. And what happens when they eat another? They say, "Hey, that didn't work."
No, you don't eat another one.
But
don't
they do.
eat the other one.
It takes a little while to kick in.
Time to kick in.
Yeah, they do. And then after, when it kicks in, they think they're going to die.
Yeah.
Because what is it that they're feeling? They're feeling something different. Immediately, they have a panic attack. And people who have anxiety that feel different than what they did a second ago think they're going to die. That's just, all right. So when we give NAD, you feel it immediately. All of your cells, like into this, you're powering your body into an electrical outlet.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, every cell is now getting that energy that it needs.
Wow.
So you feel euphoric, you feel great, and it lasts for about a week.
Yeah.
There's different protocols called the Fountain of Youth protocol.
Yeah.
And that is where you get 1,500 milligrams over a 3-day period. That will last for about 1 to 3 months.
Okay.
And
so you can do a couple load ups.
Yes, you load up.
Yeah.
You can do injections. Injections, I tell people, if you've never tried it, try a low dose injection, because if you don't like that feeling, once we inject you, we can't turn it off.
That's
You're in for the ride.
Yeah,
but 99% of people love it.
Is there any reparative sort of thing that you think is possible from that sort of stuff?
So NAD is responsible for DNA replication errors.
Yes.
That is a huge part. So that, again, is why they call it the Fountain of Youth, because when you get it, you feel 10 years younger, and feeling 10 years younger right away is euphoric.
Isn't that one of the things that, like CBD, so we were talking about marijuana just a second ago, but marijuana has the THC, which is a high effect, but it has the CBD, and there's so many other what do you call it, Brandon?
It's the terpenes, which is
right.
Essential oils,
and stuff like that. But the CBD though is
very strong anti-inflammatory.
But it's the endocannabinoid system or whatever in your body, where essentially like the CBD goes in and kind of can do some reparative properties, and health benefits.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I'm no CBD expert. I try. There's so many alternative treatments out there, or alternative therapies being offered, and so many claims. And there's a lot of people out there that will take advantage of those claims. I'm not one of them. I'm not. And so, in fact, that's another reason why we became so popular is I tell it like it is. I'm transparent. I'm honest. If you're ordering excessive vitamins, and I say that you don't need all that because you're going to, I will tell you.
That's so important.
It is. And they don't believe. So, are you for real? I would have spent $500 you drop the bill down to $150.
It's so important. You know how many multi-level marketing stuff I've tried before, where it's like this is ground up vitamins or ground up vegetables, and you put this in water, and you've gotten and I mean how much is that? Some of that works, some of it doesn't.
Optimal Human's awesome though.
Optimal Human is good. That
work.
is good.
Yeah, I don't know if that
It's
is.
just a supplement our buddy does. It's got 90 vitamins in it.
Gotcha.
It's a daily drink.
It's like what's the AG1?
It's AG1.
It's like
It's AG1.
Okay.
Well, he has
Similar.
90. AG1.
Yeah, he has
70.
more than AG1.
He has
but.
more vitamins.
So is NMND like like the one you were just saying?
NAD?
NAD is like NMNH or something.
Right.
It's another one.
And that's a precursor to NAD.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's something, it's so boring.
Yeah, NMNH, I think.
But there's a cycle called the Krebs acid cycle. Anybody remember this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember this from elementary school.
There you go. Yeah, they teach it right there. And but there's a cycle. That's what you go through this cycle. NAD gives off electrons to make ATP, which is the final pathway of the energy that's needed. In fact, if you take cyanide, that's what cyanide inhibits. It's that ATP. That's why the cell dies, and you die. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, that's just a little side for the viewers out
That's
there.
very interesting.
So we can come to the bar,
Interesting.
the IV bar, and get the NAD bag.
Very good.
We don't offer cyanide, though.
Yeah, good. We're not that kind of clinic.
So what made you go into medicine?
So when I was in high school, I was not the brightest. Well, I knew I was smart, but I just wasn't motivated. And like a lot of, there's a lot of smart people out there.
Yeah.
I had ADHD. There's no lie about it.
Yeah.
And I just did what I wanted and excelled at what I wanted to excel at. It's not important, so I do horrible. So I was a B average student in high school. Mm-hmm. I graduated at age 17. And then all of a sudden I was like, you need to do something with your life. And I was like, I'm going to challenge myself. I know I'm smart. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to be a doctor. Everybody laughed at me. They did. Because
by the way, young people out there, our audience is 85% 17 to 44.
Oh, well.
And so I just love young people to hear this story. You can be a B student. Life isn't over.
It
you
isn't.
can figure it out. Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of your young audience out there that know they're smart. And
they know they could do it.
They know they can do it, but they just don't apply themselves.
Maybe nobody's told them that they can't.
And they may have been told that they're not smart.
That's right.
That's right.
So I came from a family where doing the wrong thing was more of an option than doing the right thing. It was.
Where did you go to high school at?
In San Angelo, Texas.
Okay, so Texas boy.
San Angelo, Texas.
West Texas.
The desert.
San Angelo, Texas, like border.
Yes.
It's
a border town?
It's close.
It's
Okay.
close. My cousin, out of all places, teaches college at San Angelo
State University.
of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
San
He
Angelo.
teaches military history. Military history.
SASU?
He graduated top in his class from the United States Naval Academy.
Yeah.
Went on from there, got his doctorate from like Georgetown, and went into the naval. Ran like several Navy bases on the accounting side of it, whatnot. But his specialty is military history. And I've always joked with him. I said, Bill, you are down in Texas at San Angelo, almost border. Like, you're CIA, right? I mean, we know. Like, just be honest with me. He's like, I can't tell you this sort of thing. And dead in the face, and I laugh. I was like, so you're not? And he's like, I'm not allowed to say anything, right? And that's all. So honestly, this day, I have no clue. He very well may be. But FBI agents and people that want to be like GBI, FBI, those sorts of things. Yeah. They tend to have classes that they take in that history and criminology and whatnot. He is on does this online school too, but he teaches kids all across the country, and that's like San Angelo. And by the way, they love the town. They love the town.
It's and if you watch the show, was it called Landman? That's right
in that mecca of it.
Midland is where they call
Midland,
it.
Odessa, San Angelo. Those are the oil towns now, and so there wasn't a lot of opportunity, but nothing but to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So after I graduated, and the only reason I graduated early, not because I was a genius, but because I hit that cutoff, in September.
Yep.
So I graduated and. I met some girl in Utah on a trip. I drove out to Utah, And that didn't work out real quick.
Oh,
and,
Mormon girl?
Yeah.
Mormon girl.
Yeah.
She already had 3 husbands.
She tried to convert me. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And I was at this moment in my life, I'm 18 now, and I said, you know, I'm going to make something out of myself. So I enrolled at University of Utah.
Okay.
I started doing very well to the point that
The Utes.
the Utes and running Utes. I was there when Keith Van Horn was there. I don't know if you remember those guys.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
long ago.
yeah.
I graduated in 1990 from University of Utah. So
You got us beat. We were all still in high school.
but I applied. So I just said I'm going to make myself something. I worked so hard at it, and then the Air Force noticed my grades. They came to me, said, "Hey, you're doing so well.
Wow.
Would you like a scholarship to become an officer?" And
yeah.
they said, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "Well, I want to be a doctor." They said, "If you maintain above a 3.5 GPA and get into medical school, not only will we pay for your undergrad, all right, you'll become a lieutenant. You go off to med school. We're going to pay for that."
Holy smoke.
Yes. And they said, and then after you do your residency, you pay your time back.
It's 4 years, right?
It was 8 years.
I was
Actually,
going to say, when you go in deep in those types of the schools, my cousin, because of the Naval Academy, you know, he did 4 for 4. But then when he wanted to do the doctorate at Georgetown, the Navy paid him for. They really wanted him to teach at the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
And he wanted his family, though, was living in Texas, you know, mom, dad, and sister. So he's like, which they were all like the Dallas area. But he's like, look, San Angelo's closer than, you know. Where's they're in Maryland is the Naval Academy.
Yeah,
you know, East
right.
Coast. So,
Annapolis.
Annapolis,
yeah.
yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
They said, but if your GPA drops below
Oh, my
3.5,
gosh, that's amazing.
you lose the scholarship. And so I applied myself. I obviously
Did it all.
It worked, and I ended up getting accepted in medical school. I went off to medical school, and then
Where'd you go to medical school at?
University of Iowa.
Okay.
And I thought that I was going to be a surgeon.
Okay.
So I got accepted into surgery. And I was in my first year of surgery, and I hated it. So you become a physician,
Right.
You get accepted to your specialty, and because I always wanted to be the rooster of the hen house,
Yeah.
And then I quickly learned I do not care about that.
Right.
They ate their young. It's very
competitive.
You get crapped on when you're the first year. It's a 5-year residency.
Yeah.
The first year gets crapped on by the second, the third craps on the
Until you make it.
Yeah, and it's to teach you how to handle pressure. Well, I had decided I don't like it, so I resigned from being a surgeon after the first year. The Air Force said, well, you did finish your first year, so you have to do 1 year residency in order to be able to practice medicine.
Right.
I became a flight surgeon. So I was a flight doc for the F-16s at Nellis Air Force Base, which is the...
So what does that mean as a flight surgeon? Because when you say flight surgeon, I'm seeing you in the back of a plane.
That's true.
And stitching people up or doing whatever in the back of a plane.
And that eventually does happen, but not as a flight surgeon in my career. You are an occupational doc. You wear a flight suit. You have to pass their qualifiers, the centrifuge.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Right.
So there's so you're having to like mock whatever. You're having to go through all that.
You
stuff.
are on flight duty. You go on real missions. So there's 2 models in F-16. There's a C model and a D model.
Okay.
C model has only 1 seat. A D model has 2. Like in Top Gun.
It's like Top Gun, baby.
So the D model, the flight surgeon will sit in the back, but you have the same instruments they do. I don't land or take off, but they'll let you fly.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I took care of those guys. These guys always lie. They're always healthy, even when they're sick.
Yeah.
Because if you are the one that determines if they're safe to fly or not, right?
Gotcha.
And I did that for a while. And then after about 3 years of being a flight surgeon, I know I was getting dumber because there was no disease. These guys lie.
They're like,
they don't tell you. They don't want to tell you that.
They're jets.
Yeah. They don't want to ever tell you that there's something wrong either because you're not going. They got to fly.
They got to fly, and they will tell you even if they are having a heart attack, they're good.
Wait, so Nellis is Nevada, right?
Yes.
So did you Area 51? What's up with that? Were you there?
Area 51 is very close.
Yeah, very close. Yeah.
I've flown over that a couple times.
Okay. Let's get deep. Did you land at Area 51 and did you see any green?
He's not allowed to tell you anyway.
I will tell you what I saw.
Do you know Becker's cousin?
Yeah.
I'm sure he was there.
I will tell you this. It is there. They don't acknowledge it. When you fly over it, it looks like what you would see from a satellite picture.
Yeah.
It looks like an abandoned place.
They got a lot of underground bunkers in that area.
That's what, I can't say anymore.
That's what it is.
It's you fly over it, and so I did that, and then after a while, I said I got deployed. I got deployed to Afghanistan, and when I was there, I was in. I did Bagram and I did Balad in Iraq and Afghanistan. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to the ER. I volunteered my time because pilots are lying there and everything. I went and I volunteered, and I said, "This is where I belong."
Yeah.
So I met a lot of the ER docs, and they said, "Hey, when you get back to the States, apply for residency for ER. Come out where they were at." I did, and I got accepted, and I did a 3-year residency in emergency medicine in San Antonio, Texas.
Very cool.
And it was the best time of my life.
San Antonio is beautiful, by the way.
It was.
It's incredible.
That specialty of emergency medicine is for people with ADHD.
Yeah, right, because you got something coming at you
all the time.
It doesn't matter what age.
All the time.
Yes.
So you when you were in Afghanistan, were you working kind of in the back of like Blackhawks and stuff like that?
So I've done that too.
You've done all of that stuff, right?
All. I was a flight. So the Blackhawks, they have a flight surgeon.
Yeah.
And the pararescue guys. I don't know if you heard of these guys.
Oh yeah. The Air Force
yes.
The PJs, the parajumpers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had a shortfall, and their flight surgeon got sick.
Yep.
I volunteered. I said, I'll be your flight surgeon, and I went with those pararescue guys.
Do those halo jumps or whatever?
Yes, they do. Halo.
I mean, those things are like
crazy.
They're almost in space. They're like just below the space
60,000 feet or
and
something.
they'll drop them out with oxygen tanks.
Yeah.
But they can come in so stealth this way.
They're going to go up super high, get out of radar.
Right, and then they drop them in, and they're flying in the air. High altitude, low oxygen,
low opening,
descent, low opening.
Yeah,
low opening.
It's scary. They jump.
I've done it multiple times.
But they didn't do any of that while I was there. What we do is we would fly in a Black Hawk, and we would fly at night in these valleys in Afghanistan. Undetected. And I'm going to tell you, I have nothing but respect for the pilots.
100%, right?
Those guys are a different breed.
Yeah.
The pararescue guys, different breed. And all I kept saying is, what the hell am I doing?
That sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh! My brother was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
and he was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he was doing assault rock climbing school in like West Virginia when 9/11 happened. And when that happened, he was like,
he's already in the Marines when I was. Okay, got you.
He had gone through basic training, and then he had agreed to go into kind of this, not so much recon, but it was like this kind of this extra training or whatever for the Marine Corps. And so he went into like assault rock climbing school and swamp or whatever, and all these different things. And when that happened, like he said, the assault rock climbing was like his favorite time. The government gave him like a van, like not a minivan, but like those cargo vans, with, the 8-seat deal or whatever. Yeah. It was like him and like 8 Marines that were learning to, do this assault rock climbing stuff. And then at night they'd give you this free time with this 8-passenger van. And he said, we were Marines at, 20 years, at 19, 20 years old, we did 19, 20-year-old stupid stuff, but then he said after that, he was so ready to go. And they were 9/11. Actually, he wasn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't then, because 9/11, he had finally gone through all that. They put him on a boat and sent him over the Mediterranean, and he was on a float in the Mediterranean. He told me, he said, Jason, I'm so excited about this, because I'm basically going to be on a cruise ship. He goes, because the one thing the Marines do on a Navy boat is nothing. Because we're part of the Navy, but we don't touch the boat stuff.
Right.
So he goes, we're really there kind of protection and like assault force, whatever. So he said, but I'm attached to this boat to go out there on this float. And he goes, this is like the dream thing. Like I'm going to be a year in the Med and stop at all these ports where I don't have a job. And so I just go port to port. And I'm super excited about it. Then 9/11 happened. Then all of a sudden they were dropping them off in like these different places to clear embassies and crazy stuff. But he said that when he was in operation, and then when we finally decided on Operation Iraqi Freedom, I remember he told me he's sitting there laying in a bed the first night and in a cot, in these tent deals they have stationed at this base. And all of a sudden he hears like something go over the tent, and it shakes the tent. You can feel the air, and then it blows up behind them. Yeah. And they immediately set off the alarms to put on gas masks and all that stuff. Yeah. He's like, at this point, he was like, screw it. He said the first time he grabbed it and he threw it on, he goes, what has my life come to? Right. He's like, this is crazy. What am I doing? Like, this is weird. He said about the third or fourth time that happened that night, he didn't put the gas mask on. He's like, I got to get some sleep.
It becomes so daily routine of getting mortared.
Right.
You just go, they have these things called klaxons, which are they're differential alarms, right? And that alarm, well, if they tell you, if it sounds like the alarm's in your ear, that means that the trajectory has been pinpointed. It's coming to you. Right. So if it sounds like the alarm's in a distance, that means the trajectory of this mortar is in the distance. Yeah. And there were a couple times it sounded like it was coming, and I'm going to tell you.
It's like, well, whatever.
No, when you do hear that,
you run.
All of a sudden, your lifetime, you start thinking, and it's over. And there was a couple times I thought, I'm dead. But good thing is, majority of the enemy, they're bad aim. That's
what's crazy. The training we do, compared to what everybody in the
rifles,
world does.
AK-47s are so inaccurate.
It's an inaccurate rifle too. But the cleaning that goes into it, the discipline that goes into our forces is crazy good.
Absolutely. No, we're so good at what we do, and they're just throwing rocks and hopefully. Right. But after that, I got selected for a very specialized team.
Which, by the way, have you ever seen a European try to throw an American football? Because that's really what I feel like it is when you go and you find somebody. Anybody that's never tried to throw a football, you got to go, hey, throw this football. The first throw, you're thinking like, well, that's how they fight.
I never even thought about that.
It's kind of like watching somebody who's left-handed throw a baseball.
Right,
I mean, or that's right-handed throw a baseball.
Right.
It's very, very odd and inaccurate. Yeah. But after that, I got selected for a team called to try out called CCAT. And this is a shout out to all my CCAT folks, because it's a specialized team. And you were talking about, is this where you're in the back of an aircraft and doing doctor things? And that is, CCAT stands for Critical Care Air Transport.
Oh, wow.
And it is one of the hardest things, or one of the hardest units to make. You audition for it, and they only accept an ER anesthesiologist or critical care specialist. You have a nurse that has to be ICU or ER, and a respiratory therapist. That's it. You become that team. That team rotates, and you're picking up the dudes that have been blown up, the worst of the worst, going into Mogadishu or Kandahar, wherever. You go in, and you're picking these guys up, and you're transporting them from there all the way to Germany. Right. You can take up to 3 of those guys, and you're taking
Germany where typically people went.
That's always where they go.
Your biggest base in that area.
Ramstein is typically
Ramstein Air Force Base,
or Landstuhl.
Yeah. And that's where my wife was born.
In Ramstein.
In Germany.
The reason it's such a specialized team is when you pick these guys up, it's a surgeon, a trauma surgeon stabilizes them. Now you're putting them on an aircraft for an 8-hour ride, and you
got to keep them stable.
And there's nowhere to land, right? Yeah. So anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So that was the best part of my career.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
I ended up retiring as the director for the
very cool.
out at March Air Reserve Base in California.
That's
so
incredible.
I did 20 years.
By the way, I just want to stop for a second and tell you thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
And what you did for the troops over there and all that. And I know in every person I've ever talked to that's been in the services, I was like, thank you for that. Whatever. And it's humble. And I appreciate that about people that are in the service. So thank you. Because I mean, I didn't serve. My brother served. I know a lot of people that service, but, freedom isn't free. And, sometimes we have to, have a presence in different areas of the world to make sure we can do it and hopefully, protect our rights. But sometimes you're there too, and you don't understand why in some of these other countries. But sometimes you see the freedoms that people, and what they go through, and it's like it's pretty brutal.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you saying that. It's funny because it's all relative. Because I would pick these young kids up that were, these are the kids that are ICU kids, right? They're intubated. And they have a monitor in their brain because of swelling and they're burned. Yeah. And I would look at these kids in my head thinking, this kid's the hero, not me.
Yeah.
And they were. And
100%.
I'm going to start crying. I'm not going to kid. It was very, 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 I felt I was in the right place. I was needed. And
100%.
The higher power said, this is where you got to be.
100%. Purpose in life is so important. And I just know as an American, how invaluable it is to have, people that are out there protecting us. Certainly at a broad scale, and making sure we're okay. But then, even the first responders, and you're still doing it to this day in the ER, and I just think, from ER to fire and police and that world is, we sometimes we can go off on, how we don't like healthcare. But again, I think we have some of the best healthcare in the world.
It is the best,
right? And we've got the availability. I just think you've just got to take ownership of it. But the fire department and the police department and things like that, because we can listen. I know we've got an audience that's very broad, and I appreciate it because we go everywhere from, I'm sure if I was looking on the political spectrum, which I don't have any analytics on that, but I imagine our audience is probably across the board from left to right. And we've tried to thread the needle in certain things like that, and I can appreciate that. But I know we can go hard on, and I know there's police forces out there that probably abuse their powers, and there's officers in there, but there's that in every industry, right? But there's still some of the best people in the world protecting
our
us,
infrastructure, our first responders.
Yeah,
it's different here. Yeah, it's different than.
So I'm appreciative of people that say, "Hey, I want to protect and serve." And
absolutely.
And listen, so I appreciate it. So if anything else, the jabronis appreciate you.
We do. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just I'm happy to do what I do, and opening this IV bar, it's a big difference from what I do.
Well, yeah, because you're right, because you're saving lives, right, and doing those sorts of things. And IV though. Look, there's this NAD. I mean, there could be there's health benefits. There's health benefits to. I mean, I'm telling you right now,
freaking fantastic.
I'm telling you,
at first I wasn't.
It's amazing.
No, now I feel like $1 million.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. I have more energy right now than I had 30 or 40 minutes ago. Yeah. So feedback-wise, I'm feeling really good.
You can zoom in on my eyes. Look at these bad boys.
Really,
these brown babies are doing great.
Brown eyes.
Your eyes are green now, Brandon. I don't know what happened.
Hey, what I was going to tell you on the CF thing, too, with my son, we got sidetracked. That's the ADD part. I want to bring it back, though. While we were at Emory in Atlanta doing all these battery of tests, we finally came to the conclusion that we really wanted to track them. So my children, until they were probably 9 or 10, went to a doctor every few months, and they just tracked them, blood work, things like that. Again, part of it really a test case, because when we were talking about how small the amount of people that CF is, they were probably less than 1% of the people in the world that had that particular mutation, and they couldn't understand, why does this mutation work in such a way that it's normal?
Right.
And the understanding that, I think, is also helped them to create this drug, and the drugs that are helping CF kids live into their 60s, 70s, 80s now. They were finding my kids, because they just figured out the DNA for it back in like the 80s or 90s. So my kids, they saw this DNA hitting where it was, and they were saying traditionally what they were seeing is they'd see somebody come in at 65, 70-year-old. They thought he's just got really bad, allergies or something's happening or whatever, and maybe his lungs are starting to not function right or whatever. And then they go in and they go, "Oh, you've got cystic fibrosis."
Yeah.
And like 65. And it's this weird, rare mutation of it
to 65. That's a
and
long
they never
time.
no treatment. My kids have never had any treatment, nothing.
Right.
It's absolutely insane. So it's been an incredible journey. But when we were doing all those tests, Jackson was like 6 years old, 5, 6 years old, whatever it was, maybe younger than that. They had to draw blood, and I remember they went to stick him in the arm, and all.
Yeah.
And the first time he had ever probably had blood drawn.
Yeah.
He might have been 3. I don't even remember what it was. But I'm trying to I'm not trying to hold my kid down, but I'm kind of holding my kid down, And so it's weird. And they put this IV in him, and she's getting in there, and he's just, and he does pretty good. He's not screaming too bad. He's not doing anything. He gets it in. He's like, she's like, "See, it's not too bad." He's like, "Whatever you say," And I just remember he had such the quips. And she goes, "All right, what, I can't remember." She said, So you're almost done. He goes, "You need to get this shiny, bright, sticky thing out of my arm right now." I'll never forget that. He didn't know it was a needle or what to say. He said, "You need to get this bright, shiny, sticky thing out of my arm right now."
That is awesome.
She got off and she's like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "I don't like you."
That is so fun.
So that was his. It wasn't an IV, but that was his story.
Well, that's funny. How
He's somewhere between 3 and 5. Danielle, I'm telling you, my wife would know the date and time.
She knows the exact date.
Right.
What's fun about our place is when people walk into our RV bar, there's a sliding door, right? Mm-hmm. And you remember that scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where the kids walk in for the first time and they see the chocolate factory?
Oh, yeah.
That is the look that we get
from adults.
That's awesome.
All the time.
That's awesome.
And when you saw that picture, when you come and experience it for yourself,
I can't wait.
People, that's why we have so many reviews. I'm
kind of hooked on this right now.
We kind of got to do a follow-up with like a reel or something.
We're going to do one. We'll do one. Yeah.
We have this. The motif is like a mid-century modern. With the vibe, right? We call it the vibe. I get to do something that I never do in the ER, which is I get to talk to people, and I like to talk. And I can feel the room. I know when some people just don't.
I love it.
I love to talk.
Hey, works really good on a podcast.
Yes. But you do got to read the room. Some people just do not want to talk.
Yeah.
And I get that. But
I have days that I'm like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But I have to give my don't talk look face.
Read the room.
Right? They look at their phone.
That's
and
right.
If they look at their phone.
Yeah.
But it's an environment that they're not going to get anywhere if they don't get it. We get celebrities that come there. Yeah. Taylor Hicks from American Idol.
Yeah.
Twice he's come there.
That's awesome.
Favorite place. Struggle Jennings.
Yeah.
Who's Waylon Jennings' grandson. He's a rapper. He loves it. We've had Tyler Farr.
Struggle. What a great
I think you had Young Brock there, and he didn't even know. I think Young Brock went there.
Young Brock.
We had the Wiz, Steve Wisnowski from the Raiders.
Yeah.
They come and they like places that aren't like the others.
That's right.
And they know
that's what you're creating.
Yes.
And they know they're getting professional
work.
work.
Memberships too, where you can do the monthly stuff.
So you can come in, but there's also memberships.
We have memberships, and one thing about us that you're going to find is none of us will come and push it on you.
Yeah.
The way our place is set up with those TVs, there's 2 smaller TVs that are going to capture your attention. Okay. You have nowhere to look but forward, or you can look at your phone.
Yeah.
But they look forward, and you'll see like that right there, the chill, right?
Yeah.
We have the chill, the blaze. If they're interested, they'll ask us about it.
Yeah.
I am not going to do a car salesman pitch on you.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that, by the way.
I hate sales.
They do.
First off, I do want to, I always feel bad when we say car salesman because I know some really great car salesmen.
I'll say
people.
solar salesman.
It's just from 30, 40 years of bad car salespeople. I think that industry's changing a little bit now.
Yeah.
However, it is, you still get that bad car salesman deal.
Maybe I should change the word to pushy. Right?
Yeah.
You will never, ever hear any of our staff come over and even offer that to you. I know you've seen it. Yep. What happens is people go, if they ask about it, we're more than glad we'll talk about it. And we always get the same thing. We really like that you don't push this on us, because I went over to blah, blah, blah.
Let's say some names. Let's throw them under the bus.
No, they're not going to be on this podcast.
Not going to be
controversial.
I'll say this: there's a massage chain we all know.
Yeah.
They will push memberships on you. We don't do that, and people like that, and they say that's why we're coming to you. Once you've come to my place once, I promise you, if you go to another one, you're coming
So we
back.
got a new segment on here where we read the 1-star reviews. So we're gonna.
We do not have that
We do
segment.
not have that
But we
segment.
We actually do have a segment now, though, that is called Juice. Are you ready for this segment?
Yeah.
We're going to do the Delve cards. It's Delve card time. Can you hit that button, Juice?
He can't move all his arms. He's got too many.
We missed it a couple weeks. I had to find it again.
Where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
So this is a Delve card, D-E-L-V-E. Delve card, D-E-L-V-E. You can find Delve card. Just Google on Delve card. And, man, this is just a conversation starter. I'd say it every time when we play this game. Sometimes we haven't played this game. But parents, you've got kids. And they sit around the table, my teenagers around the table, and I say, "How's your day?" It's like, whatever.
Yeah, we got to talk about your vacation after this.
Yes, but
With the
Delve
kids,
cards, you've got to bring in a Delve card, because I'm telling you, bring these into your dinner table, pull out a Delve card, it prompts a question, and it gets the conversation started at the dinner table, which is great when you have kids around. So, parents, pro tip.
Yeah.
Delve card, let's play the game.
I want to say he's got 558 reviews on Google, 559, and there's only one bad one out of 559.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
read it.
What's the bad one?
You need to read it.
Now let's read
star.
it.
Yeah, this is what I said I was going to read it. You
Let's
only
read
have one.
This is interesting. This
This
guy.
is one star out of 500 and something stars.
This had to be
That's
right when you
insane.
opened, too.
By the way, Doc, you know this by now. You can't please everybody.
Can't please everybody.
So before we dive into the Delve question, let's read this 1-star
I want to
review.
go on that 1-star review.
got one bad review. 559. There's only one star review.
I love it.
And the guy can't spell, so he put.
That's the big.
It's supposed to be this guy puts 1 gram of
this
vitamin
gut.
C.
This gut puts 1 gram. Yeah, we're going to guess him at this guy.
This guy puts 1 gram of vitamin C in a Myers bag that is watered down. A Myers bag has 10 grams of vitamin C, and if you get the B complex and B12, it would be orange, not light snake oil watered down waste of money.
Moe. Which, by the way, this guy also is the guy that types with the 1 finger. He's just the pecker. Yeah.
Did this guy actually come to your establishment?
No.
Well, here's the responses. It's truly surprised to see
Read
such
this.
a negative review, especially since you were a no-show for your appointment. Thus, the vitamin cocktail receipt you were referring to was never administered. And then it goes on, but this is should I keep reading here?
That's a good response.
That is a great response. I love that, though. It's
You're
a
a no-show.
surprise. It's a surprise since you were a no-show.
So you took nothing. So
These sometimes, look, you're not going to please everybody, but when you've got 558 5-stars, and when I go on like TripAdvisor and I'm looking at, and my wife does this, I should say, let me back up, because my wife will listen to this show and she will call me a liar. So when my wife looks at all the TripAdvisor stuff on our vacation and decides all the excursions we're going to do, she legit reads the reviews. But she looks at she looks at some of the bad ones, but when somebody's filled with 80%, 90%, great, and then you've got some bad ones. Look, everybody's gonna have a bad day, so you're not gonna get everything right. But 2, you also have people you just can't please. They go in and they're complainers. Right. They just are, and it's something that they just do, and you're just not gonna please them. When I did the church in Atlanta. And we got reviews on our church, believe it or not. Oh, yeah. There's review pages. I can remember I got a 1-star review.
Yeah, I got to hear the 1-star review.
Did they even come?
He doesn't even know the Lord. No. I mean, what's he saying?
How does he know the Lord?
I got a 1-star review, and it literally, it was like, the comment was like, this was so great. I love the service. Everything was good. And it was my key musician's grandmother. but she thought one was like
the
you were
best.
number one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, I pulled him aside. I was like, dude, look, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do here, right? She was actually the mayor of like a town back in the day. I mean, she obviously wasn't anymore, and she just passed away not too long ago. So really a really impressive lady.
Yeah.
But she didn't know the whole 5-star, 1-star review stuff. And so I thought that was
Maybe that's what happened.
he actually walked her through, like on the phone, like how to change that. Because I was like, dude, like it's not that big of a deal, but I feel like it kind of is.
Yeah.
So, like, can we change this a little
It's
bit?
kind of looks good. Well, the 1-star review still good, right? It's like a 1-star review, but it's a compliment.
But it was a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. What was funny about this was I remember taking the call from this guy, and he sounded like a crack addict. And as you could tell, I think this review was written at 2 in the morning.
That's so good. Does that have a timestamp?
No, it's got a date. It doesn't have a timestamp.
Yeah. If you go and look at his other reviews, you'll see the same pattern that he's done to everybody.
Yeah.
But I took it so personal initially that I really did. I came back with.
So the first response wasn't as good as the second response.
Is that what you're saying?
This was the ninth response.
Okay, yeah.
It was a good thing that the person who saw me write this said, "Hey, you're gonna." You got to
Let's pause for a second.
You have to be above that, and so that was the final.
Especially when you're in customer service.
Yes, it was the first time. I think we had at that time maybe 200 5-star reviews.
Yeah,
that came up, blew me away.
Yeah.
I got one of my nurses called and said, "Hey, oh my God, did you see this?" And when I saw it, I was so what's the word? I felt violated.
For sure. Well, especially when the guy didn't show up. Again, you're not going to please everybody. You know, I was very fortunate. We ran our sanitation company. Google and stuff like that just really weren't quite around. In 2009, we sold it. Facebook had come out in like 2007, maybe 6, but really didn't take off till like 07, 08. So a lot of these reviews, they just weren't there. I mean, now I couldn't imagine like having to run all the social side.
The company is this the same company and everything now still,
it's a bigger. The company that bought us they were taken back private. They were a public company taken back private by Macquarie Partners and Goldman Sachs. So they were given all this cash to go back private and then start buying companies up. We were one of the first ones that pulled out. We were the largest in the area in the Southeast, really family owned, and so we sold that business. Really happy about it. Mm-hmm. We're able, 2009, buying homes and doing things like that, and it gave our family a much better opportunity to grow and continue to hopefully build generational wealth and do good in the world. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, they then were bought out by GFL, which was like worldwide. So they're huge.
They send trash to space now? Is that?
Essentially, they send it off the dump. Landfill it up there. But, I mean, it's easy.
Throw it at the sun.
Well, it's flat Earth. They just roll it off the side.
Well, there's other continents outside the ice wall, Becker. Come on.
No, I am joking, everybody. But unless you are one of the flat earthers, I mean, I get it. You
got to stay down the middle, right?
I'm staying down the middle.
This room looks flat. I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes you don't have to believe in.
But thanks for bringing up that bed.
No, that's great that he.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Perfect.
That's what we're here for.
No, but look at the.
I love that you're on it though.
Yeah.
I love that you're focusing on that. You had a nurse that hit you up. Have you seen this? Your staff's keyed in on wanting that customer experience to be.
They do.
Be great, and that is really hard to get everybody in your organization to buy into the mission of what's going on. That's so hard to be able to do. What are you doing to get them to buy into that? We're going to get to this Delve card, by the way.
Okay,
but I want to. I know we're kind of going into that. So
that's I love that question. When I first started, I started at a different location that was not in as primo where I'm at.
Okay.
I knew I was going to die a slow death or fast death. Okay?
Where you were.
Yeah. But I also knew the way.
Yeah, because you were in a strip mall.
It's the plaza.
I know where you were. I know where you were.
The backside.
Yeah, terrible location.
Right. And what I discovered was, man, good service That's what's important. And I started discovering that, and I was surprised I was even getting 5-star reviews. And that's what's funny. And I said, you know what? We're gonna do something that other places don't. We're gonna bring out water or a glass of wine or a blanket or a pillow before they even ask for it.
Come on.
Yeah,
The extra
Like
step
first
matters.
class, and yeah.
Right, it is. And so if you ever take time to look through those, you'll see this. I've never felt more like family. They treat me like family. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I'm big on that. I want you to feel
Huge.
like
Heck yeah.
we're the mafia and you are a big spender.
You are my family, man.
Right. And
You're VIP.
you are VIP, and you're going to get my attention, and I'm going to come talk to you. And people will ask me questions. They just can't even believe they're going to talk to an ER doc that's spending time.
When you're replying to every comment, too. That's pretty good.
Every one of those are my comments. And I felt like that was important. That's not Chat GPT.
You know, the thing is most business owners don't know this. So here's kind of a pro tip on you for that I would say is the fact that you respond. You treat people how you want to be treated, but you understand though that the consumer, the public, has a limited amount of capital.
Right.
In other words, a limited amount of money that comes into their pockets every day or every week or however you get paid. You get a limited amount of resources. Now, that amount is limited, but now that may be very small or it may be very large, right? But when they choose to walk in your door and spend the dollars with you, it's got to mean something, you know, and you've got to respect that. Right, you've got to respect that.
Those are hard-earned dollars.
They're hard-earned dollars, and you got to respect that. And you have figured that out and respected that, and decided that I'm going to treat them like a VIP, and I'm going to take time to respond to their comments.
To me, it's an honor that they chose
100%,
and that regardless whether I'm a physician or not or whatever.
Right. You're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely, and that's something new that I've had to learn over the last 2.5 years.
But that level of service takes people years to figure that out, and the ones that don't make it never figure it out. Now, I'm not saying you can figure it out. You might just have a bad business. You could have bad timing. I always feel like there's several key things that businesses need, right? You need a good idea.
Right.
You know, you need timing. And you need to be able to execute.
Right.
You know? And there's a couple other ingredients in there. But if you're missing a few of them, if you're missing a few of those things, you're not going to be able to do it. You can usually get away with 2 or 3 of the ingredients, but if you only have a really good idea, but it's the worst timing ever and you can't execute, like, you may fail. I had a friend of mine that did a business that was, it was the greatest thing in the world. I thought he was making home-cooked meals, and you could order in the beginning of the week, you could order these home-cooked meals, and he'd bring them in like tins or whatever. You'd meet them at a place, and you would just have these pre-made meals, but they were ready to go, and you would just kind of heat them up. And, man, when we were busy on the go with the kids and soccer and all that, it was like, wow, we're getting like a home-cooked meal at home, and it's so much better than fast food and all this, and it's so great.
Healthy.
And he was a hard worker. He had a great idea. And he was executing as well as he could, but it was like just the timing wasn't there.
Timing was off.
The timing was off. Now
there's a place
you
by
can
hit
get
the
it
IV
shipped.
bar that does that. Yeah.
Now it's
everywhere.
Because people started,
Yeah.
but people started figuring out eating healthy was there. He was almost ahead of. He was almost ahead of the time.
Yeah.
I'm like
He's
that
almost
with a
ahead of
lot
the
of
time.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the time. You choose.
Yeah. Ahead of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it happens. It happens. Having lightning strike is so hard sometimes in business, but nurturing that customer is so important.
Well, we when we began, I remember thinking the doors are going to be knocked down and people are going to just
that's always how it is,
right?
Yeah.
And luckily, I had nurses that I had worked with that said, "Hey, doc, I'll come work and help you out." And there would be weeks where we'd have nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And
that was January.
That was it was in 2000. When did I start?
2022?
Yeah,
maybe
2022. And this went on for about 3 months where you start going, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I would always address, okay, what can I do different? I didn't keep doing the same thing.
Well, right, because that's the definition of insanity.
Yes, it is. And as an ER doc, same thing. I think that's what helped.
Yeah.
If you're trying to intubate somebody and it doesn't work the first time, don't repeat the
Don't
same
do the same
exact
thing you did.
Try, yes. So that intuitively came to me, let's do something different. Well, I got to react fast. And I did because I could see this worked. The other 10 things didn't.
Yeah.
And my nurses believed in me enough that they stayed with me.
Wow.
And to this day, I've not had one nurse quit. Now they know they make a lot of money.
Well, yeah. Now they're kidding. Now it's happening. Now, have you ever thought about going mobile?
So we do mobile, but we don't do what I call concierge. Concierge is you call me from your hotel room. Will you come up to my room and give me an IV?
Yeah.
I have a problem with that, and the reason I have a problem with
It's a
that,
little weird in the hotel room. Right?
yes,
Yeah.
and it's big in Vegas, but it's
Vegas there a little bit.
It's
too.
dangerous.
It's got to be right.
It's your word against theirs.
Let me ask you this:
yeah,
All right,
Deshaun Watson.
when a
issues.
paramedic shows up, to a place, they have to get police clearance before they go in to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
Okay. You have nurses going into some stranger's home.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And there have been cases where they're getting assaulted. It's an uncontrolled environment. It's dirty. Right.
Yeah, screw that.
So what we do is I call it, we'll do an event. 5 people, there has to be 5 people that you prepay half, 50%, and we will come to you. But I also accompany the nurse. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a safety issue. And I also prepare for the worst. I prepare this. It's going to be dark, right? So we want it to be safe. Mm-hmm. So I do events. I don't do concierge, and there's concierge people out there. They can do it. That's for somebody else, not for me. The only person that should be putting an IV in your hotel room is a paramedic. That's my opinion.
And that's because something went wrong. Yeah.
No, I like that idea. So if you're coming down to the 30A, Destin, Miramar Beach area, Santa Rosa, great, and all the great beaches we have here on this Emerald Coast, and you're coming down, and let's say you've got a house or something down on 30A, and you've got 6 of your buddies, and you're going to do some, maybe there's a bachelor party night.
Yesterday we did that.
That's what I was going to say. That's what you should.
Makes total sense.
That you should call Aqua Vitae.
Yes.
IV.com.
Set it up
Google
early.
out.
Set it up
early.
Set it before you
How
come.
about a bachelorette or bachelor parties that we go on down here?
Yep.
You ought to all be you should find some vent planner work with those folks, because it just feels like if I'm doing a bachelorette or bachelor party, I think next day I want the mobile IV.
Yeah. And what you're getting is my prices are competitive.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And guess what? I come out there.
And
I'm
you're
the
getting
physician.
a doc with you. You're getting a physician with
they
you.
They do, and they're shocked when I come out.
Not to mention you're a great conversationalist, so that helps.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
By the way, I feel fantastic right now.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing. I've felt the best I have all week.
I feel great.
For
You
sure.
look fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank
you do
you.
look fantastic.
Thank you,
Those
Juice.
brown eyes, those
I
beautiful
know
brown
that's
eyes.
genuine come from Juice.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
looks
say
tan.
Thank you. I'm honored that you guys invited me. I've seen your
great.
podcast.
Man, thank you so
I
much.
think you
I'm
guys
glad
are doing a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
Hey, we're trying to put out good stuff into the world.
I'm privileged. I'm privileged that you asked me, and I want to
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thanks for
You're welcome. Well,
We
let's
never
get
got
into
to
the
the
Delph
we gotta
card.
get the
Let's get
question.
into the Delph card.
Let's ask one last question.
All right.
This is for everybody. So, what's the worst physical sensation?
The worst
Physical sensation. This should be pretty obvious for the men that getting kicked in the nuts sucks the most.
that is,
Vasectomies aren't fun,
I
but
haven't had that. Yeah.
It depends. So there's 2 ways to do a vasectomy, evidently.
well, the way I did was wrong because mine hurt.
So evidently, there's a way that they can do one where they do it in the sac vasectomy.
We're going
do it
deep.
out sac
This is
vasectomy.
18 plus.
Yeah, so those young people that will go and do a vasectomy, because I am a believer that the guy should go ahead and do the vasectomy. I think that the procedure on women is a little bit more invasive.
Yeah.
And so I think guys, it's an outpatient
outpatient
thing to
thing
do,
for
and
us.
all that the women do in our lives, it's a thing to do, and so you should step up to the plate and do it. But I would tell you to find somebody to do an in-sac one, because when they do the one, they make sure it's done right when they take it
Out of sac.
Yeah, but it
makes me
feels
nauseous.
like your bunghole is going to come through your pee hole.
Yeah. Just for a second.
Just for a second. Just for a second.
And they warn you.
Just for a second. Just for a
I got
second.
one that's different. How about, you guys been around livestock? Do you ever walk into an electric fence?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
That's a sensation that you do not want ever. You're like, why is my whole body convulsing?
And it'll freeze you.
That's not a good feeling.
It'll freeze you.
I'll say
It's
a bad
enough
one
to stop
too
a cow, so it's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah, that's like cavities or sensor on your teeth,
Oh,
sensor like ice creamer.
That's a bad one.
Yeah,
like
that's a
even
good
at the
one.
dentist and they're
That's a good
That
one.
smell. That smell where they're drilling.
Drilling that hurts.
Or ear sensory, but like the scraping on the board,
yes.
the chalkboard scrape.
I never ever bothered me.
Oh,
that's not. Yeah.
So it does get me.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to be sedated just to get my teeth clean. That's how bad it is. That's bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a real
Clean
thing.
Yes.
That's a good card.
That's a good
kind
that
of
was a
card.
good one.
Brandon's is obviously needles.
You're almost getting to the end of that.
Ah, baby, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you are.
Finally.
That's great. So I did want to ask you another question about your ER, Tom, though. Without violating HIPAA,
Oh, yeah.
what's the craziest thing you pulled out of someone?
Yeah.
So, there's a comedian that goes by the name of Anthony Jeselnik. I don't know if you guys-
Jeselnik, yeah.
Jeselnik.
He's
and he
awesome.
does a bit about a friend telling him that he's an ER doctor that says, 25% of my job is pulling
Stuff,
foreign objects out of
Random
people.
stuff out of people's rear ends.
And then he says, we're not friends anymore, but we see him often. I see him often, right? And it's pretty funny because it reminds me of the worst object, or I shouldn't say worst. There's two. All right. So I was the director, the ER director at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law stationed there.
Yeah, and this guy drove. He drove across 2 states because you're embarrassed. You don't want anybody to know to our ER, and it was a remote control.
Holy shit! 2
Maybe
states.
it was an
He
Apple.
drove 2 states.
We're talking a big
two
remote.
states.
He did.
That's the greatest. So first off, I've never thought about putting anything like that. And
then I'll put it lower.
but the fact that he drove 2 states, I love this. So yeah,
This is, and it's always the same excuse. I fell on it, but anyways.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. All right, so in the ER,
But you're not having you don't. It's not like you're talking to a priest here. So it's
Right.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with it.
and
so it's a remote.
It was a remote control, and when you take an X-ray, you get an X-ray. It was hilarious because you could see the actual numbers and the buttons. So, all right, so it was too big for me to remove because what happens in the ER sometimes is suction.
The sphincters,
Right? I can get up in there. I might be able to grab it, but the pressure, there's a negative pressure pulling.
There's a point of no return.
So it's like that Chinese handcuffs.
Yes.
Bingo.
That's it. Yes.
And let me tell you, a surgeon on call, they love it when the ER says, "I got this."
They do.
They do. They take their hate on you. They get me. But anyway, so the funny part about this is they take it. And anything that gets removed from the object goes to pathology.
You have to.
This is that's what happens. So it goes to pathology.
What is pathology, though?
Pathology is anything that's removed off the body has to go to a pathologist who examines whether it's tissue or whatever under a microscope. Right?
A polyp out. You can take a polyp out of your colon for a colonoscopy.
Right, yes.
They send off to pathologist.
See if it's cancerous.
It's a legal medical thing.
dinosaurs.
They identify what was pulled.
What was pulled?
So they identify it was a remote control.
It was a remote control.
All right, so now remember, this guy drove 3 states or 2 states. Right? All right, this is the best part. So
good.
We have what they call M&M, which is morbidity and mortality, where all the docs every morning get together. We go over the cases of the day, and they bring this up and they show the remote control. And here's the part that you're not going to believe. This guy comes back the next day to ask for his remote control back.
He does not want it back.
I kid you not. He comes back and asks for it back. And I would, to me, that was hilarious. But
wow,
the second worst thing that has ever, all right, in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
In Vegas, I have a 70-year-old something gentleman. He comes in and he tells me that, and this is like 1 in the morning. He hired a woman of the night. Okay. And, I felt so bad for this guy. And he says that she was putting a glass thing.
Oh, no.
I kid you not.
But once it goes up, sometimes it doesn't come back down.
It gets worse.
This sounds like it didn't.
It gets
that
really
had
bad.
a crack in it.
She goes, he says, and all of a sudden she goes, oh my God. And he said she gets up and runs out the room. He says, I turn around, she's gone, and I don't see the object. I don't even know if it's inside of me, but I'm having all this pain.
Oh my God! Of course you are.
I take a X-ray, and it's an object that looks like an Aunt Jemima bottle. Okay, it's shaped like
Is it a
that.
Heineken bottle?
No, it was a
got a
sexual.
handle, yeah.
It was
It was from a toy store.
a toy store,
Adult
but it had
toy
that,
store.
It had the Aunt Jemima kind of look. And
Who
I
thinks of that, by the way? Who comes out with Aunt Jemima would look really
there's
good?
some sick people out there.
and sort of, yeah, there
And I
is.
guess
The depravity of humanity.
this is one of those stories. What happens in Vegas, unfortunately, doesn't stay in Vegas.
It never does.
Because this gentleman was married. He's in his 70s. I could not. There's no way I was going to get it out. It was too far up. I have to call a surgeon. The surgeon's upset, right? They just hate those calls. Takes me to the OR, and he comes back later, about 2 hours later, and I said, hey, how'd it go with that guy? And he goes, he's going to be upset. He's in recovery. I go, what happened? He goes, it perforated his colon. He has a diverting colostomy. Now he's got a poop bag.
Oh, no.
And he goes, and now he's going to have to explain to his wife what happened.
What happened.
And I got to tell you,
Does he go, honey, I fell on it?
yeah.
You're never going to believe this.
You're never going to
yeah.
believe what was left in my room.
You never believe
You
it.
know, and you think and you look at this guy and you go,
This
you
Aunt
know,
Jemima bottle.
that could have been me. You know.
If I made a different choice here and
Yeah,
there,
right.
yeah.
You make a right turn or a left turn. Yeah.
And I truly, I had in my heart, I had sympathy. This guy was 74 years old. And
That's a tough day.
The humility that he had to go through to tell me that this would happen.
Sure.
He was embarrassed. And then, you know, I never saw, of course, after he went to surgery, but these are the things that you deal with.
Yeah.
And ER medicine is not just, you know, doing chest compressions.
Right.
There's
You're
so
a
much-
psychiatrist.
You're
everything. Those
everything.
ER guys, I know. I called on those guys in my career.
You are everything.
Psychiatrist, everything.
And I know you've had the people that come in where, you know, 2 aspirins would have taken care of whatever they were dealing with.
Yeah.
So you get the run of the gamut, right?
Because
Because you get the folks that feel like everything's wrong with
it's
them.
the dumping ground.
Right.
It is. It's the dumping ground. And so what we always say in medicine, this is ER, it's 80% boredom, 20% sheer terror. That's my job. It is.
Wow.
And Aqua Vitae IV, Drip Bar, it's 100% pure.
It's
pure
100%
enjoyment.
chill.
Pure enjoyment, pure fun.
No stress for anybody.
Stress-free. Oh man, when you get done with it, I'm telling you, I feel so
feel great.
good. I'm 100% gonna do this again. And
Oh, we're coming in.
7 days a week, too. Yeah.
We're
We
gonna
open every day.
All,
Coming in.
all 3 of us are gonna do
We're
one
gonna
together.
we got to go on
at your-
location.
Go location.
We've never
and do
gone
it.
on
We will.
location
We
before.
will.
We've never gone on location.
Well, we're not gonna do a full pod, but we'll go on
No, we'll go,
location and
yeah.
do a little reel.
Right.
But we've got to
I
do
would love
something
it.
else. That'd be
Just
great.
don't do crack because I don't want to reveal like the one that we got. You know, and
I'll do a 2-star review, not a 1. It's just fucked
brother.
up.
and yeah, at least do spell check.
Yes. Spell check. Just chat GPT it or something.
Yeah, Becker hadn't wrote anything himself in like 2 years. So he picked this bracket out and he's winning. It's BS.
Oh, am I number 1 in our bracket right now?
Yeah.
I'm number 1 right now.
Well, ChatGPT's number 1 or whoever
Oh, come on,
whatever
man.
AI
Whoever you
platform.
Listen,
Whatever AI platform
I
you
went by
use.
the mascots. I picked the ones I like better.
That usually
and then
works.
And I played mascot versus mascot, and then that was it. And then
You picked Duke. You didn't even go with the SEC team. In a
well, I
champion.
went outside of it because I feel like they're good. They're
You didn't want to
they-
pick
they
Team
beat-
Shorts.
I can
Florida?
I never
Juice.
do that. I'll
Cooper.
never do that.
Cooper
I would
flag.
lose every bracket in my world. if I picked
Juice.
Florida.
Cooper Flag.
So-
This kid is.
That's why I did it. It's Cooper Flag.
Ridiculous.
That Duke?
It's Cooper Flag,
Yeah.
and he's not
He's
coming back. I don't care what anybody
I
says.
watched
He's not coming back.
See every game he played in high school. I watched.
The other issue I'll say is that I think the SEC has beaten up on themselves so bad
Yeah.
that I think that they're.
Well, it's a crappy
there's-
style of basketball.
Hey, check me,
Either
boo.
way.
Check me, boo. You know, any of you NCAA players out there in the SEC say that you may run the gamut and prove me wrong.
They're 25% of the field still.
I understand, but I still think though that and I have 3 of them I think making it to the to the
I
Final
think I did
Four.
too, yeah.
But I have Duke in there, and I think that Duke has the firepower. They just
Oh, my gosh.
they don't have this. They play some big powerhouses. I'm not saying Duke doesn't, but they don't.
The ACC was horrible this year.
That's what I mean. The teams that they had to play weren't quite giving the same challenge.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that their bodies may be more well rested going into
I will tell you
this run.
Duke will beat every SEC team right now.
Are teams doing that?
They're
By the way,
that
are
good.
teams like NBA, NFL, etc. doing this IV treatment? Or
Has to be.
Yes.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Got to be. Athletes. This has got to be a big on the athlete list.
This is
right?
huge. Well,
Recovery.
that's actually a good point because, with all the anti-doping and stuff like that,
Right.
This is a gray area of people doing this right before a sporting event. So we have an oxygen bar that delivers 96% pure oxygen. As a professional athlete, if you are caught doing that before you run, that's considered
But they do oxygen on the sideline, don't they?
afterwards, right? That's when
He's talking about like getting
I'm
it,
talking
pumping
pre-game.
in, like pre-gaming your
Right.
It
oxygen.
gives you an advantage
because
over the other
you're
guys.
oxygenating your blood, which is going to essentially help you
How
recover.
chopped up is this?
That's crazy.
It's what,
Like, I don't see why
essentially
that'd
it's
be
what Lance
illegal,
Armstrong.
though, yeah.
It's almost what Lance Armstrong
Yes.
did.
Oh.
And all he did was what's called blood doping.
Yeah,
which
but
is
he's adding oxygen in his body.
He
okay. So he
donated
wasn't
his own
doing, like,
blood, and
actual
then they
steroids and
hyperoxygenate. They donated blood, so now he's got more red blood cells that are hyperoxygenated, so he can go longer, faster.
It's giving
and-
him better endurance.
But it wasn't even a drug; it's just his own blood. That they have. So this area, and I tell professional athletes that come in, make sure that if you're they're going to. If you're running a race or doing a
right,
make sure. First of all, I'm not going to tell anybody. The records are hit, but we don't talk.
That's right.
But this is a gray area that has come up, like NAD we've talked about.
Yeah, so it's important you let people know, right?
I do, and and just. I always dress like this, by the way, when I meet my customers.
I love it.
This is
I
not
love it.
just for this show. This is me.
Doc Dryp, baby.
Yeah. like I said, it's got to feel like the mafia. And,
You coming in, you're feeling like family, having a good time.
Yeah, I want you to feel scared that if you don't take, is he going to put
the needle in the wrong spot.
no.
What kind of oxygen is this?
Oh my God! Did I
Sleepy.
put a little bit on there? Oh,
No,
my
you're
God.
fine.
You guys got me so excited. I spilled this martini that was so delicious.
You're good.
I shouldn't have 7 of them right before I came. But, seriously, you guys, this was fun. This is
a lot of
Thank you,
fun.
man.
I
It's a lot
want
of
to
fun.
thank you, all of you.
Yeah,
This is
man,
great.
it's a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Last
That was
question,
awesome.
and we're going
I got
to
one
go
more.
to the end. If you had one thing you could go back and change at 18 to 25, maybe let me ask it a different way. What would you tell your 25-year-old self looking back now?
Yeah, so I thought about it a lot, and I would have told my 25-year-old self, listen, you need to study and take school seriously when you're right, because I did have to overcome obstacles to get to where I'm at. You're not going to get people that believe in you if you're a B student. You don't. But if you believe in yourself and don't listen to what other people say, you will overcome that obstacle and you can be whatever you want to be. It's the truth. For me to be where I'm at, for me to become a colonel in the Air Force, those were things I thought were inachievable. So if I could tell my 25-year-old self, hey, you know what? You're going to change the way you thought when you were younger. Go back, put the work in, because I promise you'll appreciate it later in life. But again, like I said, even if you don't do that, if you believe in yourself, if you put in the time, don't let anybody tell you can't do. Because I had a lot of people tell me that. And it's a testament. I still, to this
Shut down the
day,
noise.
I cannot believe that I am a physician, an ER, and have done all the things that I've done. I shouldn't, by statistically speaking, be here. I shouldn't be.
Which you are. Yeah.
That's
our opportunity. You can do whatever you
Haters
want.
be your motivators, but you got to put in the work. Right? It's
the
not
work.
going to happen. That's what people know. They just don't understand it.
Yes, you can do it. It's easier. Trust me, kids. It's easier if you put the time in while you're in school.
I had a guy that was a renter in one of our homes, and after we got out of sanitation, I do a lot of rental homes all across the Southeast. I've got a complex in Athens and had one in Knoxville. Homes all in Atlanta and the Metro Atlanta area. So at Renter one time, I was dealing with them back before we started, when we were just getting going, and had a handful of them. And so now I have a management company, though, that I don't have to do it as tight as I was to the client. But this guy, I remember, said, Jason, he said, man, I'm praying it up. He was kind of pastoring a church, but it was like not pastoring a church. I don't know what he's doing. And he said, I'm praying it up. My funds, they're gonna come in. I'm praying it up. And I was like, well, what are you doing though, as far as like job wise to get the rent done? He said, well, I'm just praying it up. And I was like, I said, brother, hey, the good Lord said, faith without works is dead. And also, you got to put in some work.
I'll bless the work of your hand. Right. That means you don't.
I was like, you got it. Like you can pray it up. I'm not saying you should pray it up, but you are responsible for doing your end of the job. You know, and you got to put in the work. And so you can believe in yourself all you want to do.
Yes,
and that's super important. I know I've met optimistic people in my life, and I tend to be more optimistic than pessimistic. However, and I think that's just my American spirit coming out. But you got to do the work.
Absolutely.
There comes a point that you have to leave it up to your faith and where you're going to, and you got to put in the hands.
You can keep on working until it happens.
You got to do everything in your power to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if I might end this with one thing, I just want to throw a shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
All right.
She's great. Stacy's great.
I'm going to cry.
Oh, man, that's great.
My wife put so much faith in, because, as when I was full-time ER, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then when I told her that I wanted to do this, she took it okay, right? Yeah. But she didn't realize the obstacles that would come in building a business. And I want to give it to her. She stuck it out. She's put up with a lot of unknowns. Yeah. And I just wanted to say to her that I thank you and for sticking it with me.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? It takes incredible partners in life when you find a mate in life that's going to support you in your dreams and you're supporting them in their dreams. It's so important to have.
Absolutely.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end of the show right now. I do want to go in. This is the audience question. It's our last one.
Uh-oh.
So we have our audience. Our audience knows that we have a mailbag. You can email us at $10podcast@gmail.com. That's 10, the number 10. Then dollar spelled out. So $10podcast@gmail.com. Email us your questions. We will answer your question on the show anonymously. So you send it in to me. You can create a fake email address if you want it. If you don't want it, that's fine too. We're not going to tell you who you are, your email address. Nothing's going to flash up there. We're going to read the question. We're all going to try to help answer this question for you. This came in the other day. It says, Dear Jabronis, dear Jabronis, my friends all seem to have it together. They are off to college or trade school, and I'm still working from home, and I'm not even sure of my next steps. What should I do? I feel like I'm so behind. Help.
So who wrote this question?
You do that every time.
I'll tell them I was in this same situation where I didn't go to college right out of high school. I waited a year.
Yeah.
And it's all good, man. I mean, you can go to local college, work your way, do 2 years there, then give you a little more time to figure out what you want to do. Because a lot of people I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
When you go to school, you kind of figure it out. I feel like you can figure it out a little later. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
I don't have to feel pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Doc, you're an honorary jabroni right now, so feel free to jump in. I feel like what I would say to you is that what you don't realize is time is actually on your side. So traditionally speaking, provided some tragic, horrible thing happened, I mean, time is on your side. Mm-hmm. This is a person that while you're speaking, they're off to trade school. I'm pigeoning you between that 18 to 20-year-old age right there.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, time is on your side. You've got so much to do, and it's all about comparison. I would tell you, you need to focus on things. What I would do is focus on things that interest you. Focus on skills. Maybe you need to figure out a trade school. Maybe you want to go to college. Maybe you don't want to do any of that. I don't think you have to do those things. Some of the best entrepreneurs in the world didn't go to college.
That's right.
So I just think you've got to find things that interest you. And it's so cliche to say, if you find something you're passionate about, you'll never work a day in your life. And there's a lot of truth to that. But really the passion about it is, if you find something you're passionate about, you're going to be better at it than everybody else. That's the actual reason why. It's not so much that you feel like you'll never work. That passion there will be days that you're going to be like, man, I don't want to do another, IV or whatever, right? There's days that you're like, I just want to rest. Like you're going to be tired of it. So,
anybody, you do something for a certain amount of time,
it's going to happen. Yeah. But when you're passionate about something, you're going to deliver something better than anybody else has done. So whether that's a mechanic, whether it's hotel manager, whether it's
going to Air Force,
right. Yeah.
I mean, I wish I'd have did that honestly.
Time is on your side. So don't. And here's the other thing I'd say: the comparison game. And this is so crazy because I literally just went to church this morning, and it's all about the comparison sort of deal. And I was like, wow, it just hit home. And then this question, and I knew this question was coming up, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, this is like one of those God things where it all like lines up, and I'm like, what in the heck? Because he read from John, and it was chapter 21, and it was like the story of Peter, and Jesus had risen from the dead. He met with 500 people, saw him alive after his resurrection, and he walks around, and in this story, he had just gone to the beach with them, and and they realize, oh, it's Jesus at the beach, and he eats breakfast with them and all this stuff, and he's walking around with Peter. And Peter had denied him, 3 times. This is before Jesus died, but, he went on trial, and all his disciples were scattered because they thought this is the end of our whole, the jig's up, and it looks like he's going to be crucified. And they were like, well, you were with Jesus. He's like, no, I wasn't. And somebody else asked him, no, I wasn't. And Peter had already told Jesus, I'll die with you. I'll go to the end of the earth with you.
It's his best buddy.
And then I denied it. And so now he's seen, though, that Jesus died. Then he's now alive, and he's walking the earth with them and eating breakfast with them. And he's like, yeah, okay, so now I believe it. Now I'm in. I'm really in now. I've touched your hands. I've touched the scars. I see what's going on, and I'm in. And so, but while he's there, it's this story that I was reminded of today in the service in chapter 21, where he's walking this beach, and it says that Jesus saw the disciple that he loved, which was John. And which I'm sure he loved everyone, but John wrote John, and he, of course, is going to describe himself as being the one Jesus loved. I mean, little self. I mean, look, little humanity coming out there.
Else didn't say.
A little bit of humanity coming out there. But he sees that, and he says Peter kind of gets a little offended. He's like, well, what about him? He says something to the effect, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but he says something to the effect. He says, look, I might let him live until I come back. He said, but what's that to you?
We're all our own individual.
He's like, what's that to you?
Don't compare yourself to somebody else.
Right. Yeah. You do you.
You only be disappointed when you compare yourself to somebody else.
So all I can tell you young people is, and we live in a world that is the social media is drastically abused and hurts your minds. And I think it can be this great tool. I think, look, I use social media, especially because we're doing this pod, and I want to put out good things into the world, and it is kind of our conversation of now. However, you need to understand that everything you see out there is everybody's highlight reel. And nobody lives life the exact same way. And so when somebody's telling you they're doing really well in school and they figured this, stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Stop doing it. Just focus on you and making the best decisions you can make today for your future. That's all you can do.
What I would say to that person, work hard and have a good attitude.
That's it.
If you can control those two things,
good things will happen.
You can work hard. Everybody can. And everybody can have a good attitude. Yeah. Things will come to you.
That's right.
Good things in life will start coming your way. If you work hard and have a good coachable attitude.
That's great.
You're going to kill it.
No, that's so much fun. That's so much fun. Well, Doc, this has been an absolute blast having you on the show today. Yeah. We've absolutely loved it.
Great.
We're going to come in and get. I'm hooked. So we're going to come in and get another IV. The jabronis are coming.
I'm going to double dip.
You guys come in. Let me hit you with the NAD.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's what I want.
We need 3 hours. You said.
No, you won't need 3. What I'll do,
I might need
because it's your first time, right?
Yeah.
I always suggest 100 milligrams in your bag.
Okay.
What I do is I let that bag go down a little bit. I throw it in there so you can get that feeling, because 500 milligrams is a lot of money, right?
Right.
But I want you to feel why it's so.
Okay, yeah.
I like it.
All it does is it accelerates, it accentuates the good cells in your body. That's all it does.
I'm excited.
And you feel
I'm excited.
wonderful.
We're going to come in.
Immediately.
We're going to have the jabronis come in. I want to see the facility. This was so much fun. I had a great time. I feel better than I ever
did
had.
too.
Aqua Vitae, IV.com. Check them out. You got to go in and see Doc Dryp. 530 something.
539.
539 5-star reviews, man.
That's a lot, because I got like 19 and I'm
These
proud of
guys
them.
will take care of you. Make sure you go in and tell them the jabroni sent you.
That's right.
If you're coming down here on vacation, book it early. If you got a group, book it for your bachelor party, bachelorette party, whatever. It's going to help you recover down here when you're trying to party and have a good time. We want you to have a good time down here, but we want you to be safe and enjoy it while you're down here, for sure. But this is the time I like to say, listen up, kids. So listen up, kids. You know, whatever you're doing in life, you want to do it the best of your ability. What I love about today's conversation is we got to listen to an entrepreneur that has been pivoting his entire life, and it's all been about service. So here's the key ingredient: others before self. You will never go wrong. But I mean, what the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.